just gotta be a place up ahead where men ain't low down and poker's played fair. And if there weren't, what were all the podcasts about? I'll see you there, and we can podcast together and shake our heads over all the meanness and the used to be.
I mean, that's nice.
I felt
Very
like
sweet.
Yeah. It kind of speaks to this not being like the most like, you know, zingy quotable movie.
I think the language in this movie is incredible,
It
but
is.
you look at the quotes page and everything is a fucking unbroken paragraph of dense Old West.
It felt like I was walking into a Walt Disney World ride. Like, you know, it has that kind of like, well, hello there.
howdy. Yeah. 100%.
Paul, I mean, that might be part of why I find this movie so pleasant to watch.
Oh, what a delight
I find it
this was.
so comforting to watch this movie.
And yet the most famous line from this movie is first time. Which is a perfect, pithy, to the point, crushes, has become a meme in its own right, which is funny.
And despite this being a film that is only, 7 years old?
Yeah, there you go.
I do feel like the first time meme is almost like the Jeremiah Johnson meme, where 99% of people who use it could not tell you what movie it's
I'm going to be honest. I did not know it was a meme.
Oh, yeah. It's a good...
I don't know the Jeremiah Johnson meme.
Okay, so that's a big one.
Oh, boy.
But do you know what I'm...
Pin it on the board. Half an hour of discussion.
No, but Jason is also not on social
I was
media.
about to say,
It's simply a fact of that I'm not in this world.
You've never been on any of the things that would present to you as a sort of a graphical image format.
No,
History has really proven you right on your abstinence.
Oh, boy.
So the Jeremiah Johnson meme is just the gif of this from Jeremiah Johnson.
Sure, of course. R.I.P. a legend.
Right. And I think the thing about it, Paul, you don't need me to show you, right? You don't know.
Oh, I know very well, and I actually have a fact about it.
What is
so
it?
You use it to convey a kind of like grudging, admirable sort of
it's almost like a that'll do pig.
But then
I don't know what that is. Great. You're backing it up with something.
I'm talking James Cromwell and Babe. That weirdly
I thought it was another meme.
No.
It hasn't been memeified, but it feels like Jeremiah Johnson represents that kind of feeling.
But the thing that happens, I will say every so often on Twitter, is you'll see someone post, I didn't realize this was Robert Redford.
That's what I was going to say. People don't
think
know.
it's
Zach Galifianakis. Everyone thinks Galifianakis.
Yes.
Or they're just like, oh, it's just some guy because he looks so like full-faced and stuff.
And you so rarely see him except that movie with that giant beard.
Right.
Yeah.
And that movie has kind of disappeared a little bit. I feel like.
I also think it's the sign of the times, right? Because I remember, this is the thing I always go back to, during one of the Grammy performances, Kanye brought out Paul McCartney. So this gives you how far ago it was. And one of the things on Twitter that was going on very bigly, as our president might say, was that people were like, I love that Kanye's giving new artists a chance to come out to the public. Like, who is, like, they didn't know.
He's using the platform.
Yes, he's using, like, he found this older guy who's
a regional
really
act.
talented.
This is a Liverpudlian.
And so I feel like that, going one step deeper is amazing. I find that with Jason and I on How Did This Get Made, people are like, you guys run a show together? Like, yeah, well, like you didn't even do like a brief Google search.
Yeah.
Like somebody said to me the other day, and genuinely, I was like an announcement. I was in something and they're like, oh, that's amazing. You're starting acting. And I was like, all right. Like, and I said, like, and at first I thought it was a bit and I was like, it wasn't. And I was like, great. And I feel like that is kind of the way that a lot of people are approaching life. Just blinders on. It's like, I like this thing. I'm not going to look to the left or the right of it.
It's so siloed. Everybody receives the thing that they get, and whether it's a meme or a podcast or whatever, they don't care to explore it any deeper or further.
No. And first time is a self-contained statement.
Oh, yeah.
And is first time also that this is the first Coen Brothers that was not in theaters?
True.
Yeah, it got a very, very limited run. I was even looking it up.
Even before Netflix was making the Glass Onion type.
Exactly.
Like, oh, some of the big shit.
But that was, that was the biggest they ever had. I still feel like even now, when they give it the perfunctory run at the 6 theaters they own and a couple others and whatever, it usually plays for like 3 continuous weeks. And this was 1 week between it playing in 3 theaters and going to Netflix.
I'm very desperate to get into the dossier on this one because it went through so many permutations of what this would be.
Yeah.
This was not meant to be a movie. This was meant to be a series. This was not meant. So that's what I want to get into.
I'll settle those questions.
Yes, exactly.
I love this.
But it's a fascinating story.
Before we do, Ben, if you don't mind, hit it.
Oh my God.
What?
He came prepared with something?
I need it louder, Ben.
Yeah, crank it
Thank
up.
you. On the day True Grit dropped, the blankies all gathered around and gazed in wide wonder at all the Greek American actors Griffin and David found. The two friends spoke up.
Yep.
Couldn't think of any off the dome. They forgot all about me. That I was Greek to the bone. Greek to the bone. I got a bone. I got a bone. A bone to pick. I got a bone to pick. That's it, Ben. Take it out.
Okay,
How dare you?
Very
Now,
fair.
how
We
People
dare
were
had
really
this
mad
coming.
at us about this.
We had this coming.
Now, I'm trying to remember the exact. So we were sort of saying like.
Can I just interrupt you for a second,
Please go ahead.
David?
It was Savvy and Yorgos.
Yes.
We were talking about Yorgos.
It was
Pavel
True
Sakis,
Grit.
and we were asking him, how quick,
Right, how quick do you
short
vault
is
to
your
like
run to
By
be
the way,
the number
Ben,
one?
Excellent.
That was very well executed.
I do want to call out that Ben texted me about an hour before record and said, "Weird request. Do you have sunglasses?"
Oh my God.
I thought they were
I
for
fucking
him.
forgot.
I love it.
But you were
But I
just
didn't
wearing
reveal.
my toy Masters of the Universe
Perfect.
sunglasses. I don't know
By
if you
the way,
noticed the
nailed it.
logos on the
And
side.
I want to be very clear. This is a shout out to Zach Cherry.
Of course.
This bit is a Zach Cherry bit from Doughboys.
Yes.
Yes,
Right.
he did it perfectly on Top Boys. You did it perfectly here.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. I got his blessing to do it. Do not worry.
Great.
This is
Great.
not stolen valor.
And by the way, I was wondering why you were reaching out to Zach Cherry because Jason asked me yesterday, do you have his information?
The
I was
machinations here.
The Uber driver who drove me here for the 20 minutes I was in the car that I was rehearsing, singing along to the track.
You were doing it out loud?
Out loud. Must have thought I was
Wow.
insane.
Did you warn him or did you just start doing
Zero.
it?
I talked
Wow.
to him not at all
Kudos to
because
you.
I don't talk to drivers.
That's the way he does it.
That's
Now,
the way
I'm
he
a man
does
of the train. That's
Of
why
course.
we started about 30 minutes late.
And you always talk to the conductor.
I always
you
am
knock
getting
on
in there.
their little room.
I get in there and just want to know what's going on. My mom once told me, my mom works in hospitals and worked with a lot of psychiatric care patients at a certain point. And when she was working in New York City, she said, "Hey, I just want to tell you one thing. Never ride mass transit or get on a bus."
Oh, interesting.
She
Sure,
said
right.
all those people are suicidal and they're gonna and they're all on
Wow.
drugs. And I was like, well, that really is limited majority of transportation.
Sure.
Yeah,
Kind of got to get around.
but
right.
Just to say never go on mass transit,
Never.
That's
never
so funny.
Any form.
any form.
But I am inclined to agree vis-a-vis buses.
Sure. I agree with that. I agree with that.
Well, the thing about buses is you're not going to, in New York, you're not going to get anywhere too fast
No.
on a bus.
But
usually.
we're getting off track.
we need
You
to settle
guys
this issue.
Okay,
on
okay.
the
And we
True
haven't
Grit
introduced the show.
episode. I
Mhm.
don't care.
I
Fucking matter.
understand.
Couldn't
I
matter.
don't care. I've got a grievance that I am lodging.
He's got a bone.
I've got a bone to pick. You guys, with Stavi, who I could not be a bigger fan of,
Lovely guy.
are talking about Yorgos, you're talking about True Grit, you're talking about Damon, and then you segue effortlessly into the Chris Nolan Odyssey that's coming up. Starring
Right, that
Damon.
was it. Right, because he's saying there's not one Greek
There's
in
no
there.
Greeks in it.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you
yeah,
guys
yeah.
are like, well,
That we
who
know of.
are the Greek American actors who could be in it? And you all came up at like blank. I
Well-
am not only a regular guest on this show,
You are.
I am your friend.
And you're an actor.
Wow.
You are.
And you're
I
our
am
friend.
Greek. I am American.
You're a
and I
Patreon
am an
subscriber.
actor.
You give us
You are an
money
actor.
every month.
We are on a text chain
We're on
together.
a text chain.
This was I felt personally aggrieved.
It was tough. I'll say what I
Especially
did.
because
I'm going to admit what I did.
okay.
I Googled Greek American actors
Jesus.
at the
Oh,
time.
oh,
I think
okay. All right.
because I was also trying to do the true who am I not thinking of?
And I was doing it off the dome.
who should
In
Chris
my
have
defense,
called?
I believe you guys came up with Elias Codius, who is Canadian.
did we even say
Wow.
Galifianakis?
I can't remember
You
if we
did
said
not
him.
say Zach.
That's also
you said
embarrassing.
Nia Vardalos.
Yeah.
You said Elias Codius. You said Jen Aniston, who is half Greek.
Jennifer
Yeah.
Aniston is at
Half
the top
Greek.
when you
Yeah.
Google.
Oh,
her.
of
Right,
course.
right.
Did
Of
we
course.
say Rita Wilson?
I don't
Wait,
remember.
she's up there.
She's in there though,
Yeah.
for sure.
This
Yeah.
is an interesting list.
You didn't say Chris Diamantopoulos.
I was going to say
No.
that.
Very
oh,
great.
that's a big miss. That's
Very
a big
He's
Greek.
got a name.
Very
again.
Greek.
That's
Now,
right,
yeah.
right.
Let's be clear. Is Chris Nolan going to use any of us in this movie?
By the way,
absolutely
I
not.
want to see the Odyssey poster with just those names on it.
Just like me,
Just-
Stavi,
just
Chris Diamantopoulos,
40
Nia
A's.
Vardalos.
It'd be hard to get the text everyone fitting on that.
I will tell you this.
It's just a text poster.
I
like the Fiona Apple album.
I heard a
The
great
pun.
story about the Odyssey, which I think I can share because it's I think I can share that story.
If it's that Homer Simpson wrote it, I think your wires got crossed.
A little bit Peter Griffin wrote it.
Wait, that way was a little flashback like this. No, so I was shooting on the Universal lot, and I don't know if you've seen this, but on TikTok, there was a lot of footage of the big ship from the Odyssey in the water because they were shooting it in one of the tanks.
All practical, baby.
Practical.
Right, yeah.
And if you got high enough on a hill or on the top of a parking structure at Universal, you could look down at the boat in the water. Now, when they were shooting, it was very heavily covered because they had a lot of lighting equipment and stuff like that. Apparently, production was furious that these images of a boat from hundreds and hundreds of feet away were released. And this is that post-trailer.
Right.
Trailer had been released. We've seen the boat in the trailer.
Yeah.
That it was suggested that if they want to continue filming, that Universal would have to build a 75-foot tall wall to block out
there you go.
Any lookers on from this process.
Bring in Mr. Nolan's wall.
And then when they were told that was impossible to do, because it wasn't just like, it was a large, it wasn't even like a put up a screen. It was like, please build a wall. It was
build that wall. Mr. Trump, please build that wall.
Please build that wall to protect this ship.
It was met with great disdain and anger that they could not immediately build a 75-foot tall wall.
If I had been in that room, I have the answer for them. Take that giant minion, move it over where he wants the wall. Universal got this giant
the whole thing
minion.
In the sphere.
You can
How about
see
that?
From the
Take
highway.
Those seats out.
Yeah.
I can just read to you the Greek American
Please.
actors. First I Googled Greek actors and I got, I think,
Sure,
from Greece.
Yes, of course.
All good. So Zach, Jennifer, people we would have thought of. Tina Fey.
Great.
Comes up right away, obviously.
Someone that you guys have struggled to name in the past, Milena Kanakaridis.
Milena Kanakaridis is about
struggle to literally name.
7 rows down here, but she's in there.
Yep.
John Stamos.
Oh, yes.
Always
Classic. Greek yogurt.
Now,
I'd like to see him in the
this
other.
one, this one I didn't know. Hank Azaria?
Didn't know that either.
Is he like maybe
half?
Half?
Yeah.
Let's see.
I wouldn't be surprised.
His grandparents on both sides are Sephardic Jews from Thessaloniki. Okay.
I love it. My dad's from Thessaloniki.
2 quarters makes a half.
Yeah.
Now, Olympia Dukakis, who is dead?
One of the greats. R.I.P.
She's one of the greats.
But that's pretty embarrassing. There's maybe not an actor with a Greeker name than Olympia Dukakis.
But I mean, like, Nolan's not going to, he could do a lot, but he's not going to revive her.
I feel like you're skirting the issue, David.
But Dimitri Martin is in it, right? Dimitri Martin is in the movie.
Yeah, he is.
Right.
He does a PowerPoint.
He plays guitar.
Right.
He's so good. And he made his own costume.
Minu Suvari, I guess I never thought about it, but there you go.
I didn't know that.
Now, this one surprises me. Betty White? Is she Greek?
I have no idea.
That must be a stage name then, right?
White. Or did,
I think White is her married name.
That's
okay.
I mean,
White is her. No, White is her name. Her name is Betty White, and her mother's name was Christine Kachikis, and indeed was Greek.
I love it.
Okay, all right.
I love that. She's also dead, so cannot appear.
She's dead.
Unless there's some scenes with ghosts.
I mean, but by the way, Nolan has figured out how to bring ghosts back. But they can't be photographed on IMAX.
Yeah,
and
that's the hard thing.
That's because it's too loud. It's scary.
I was about to say, right. It's not that the camera can catch it. They're just
on the episode, you guys even mentioned someone playing Dionysus, which I do play on the Percy Jackson show. Did that also didn't even remind you of me?
I haven't watched the Percy Jackson show because I've never read the book.
Is that show full of Greeks?
I'm the only Greek on that one too.
I was about to say, did they
you
do
and a plate of feta, the entire
Google?
Greek representation.
I apologize.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Apology accepted.
I want to also say I'm sorry. I feel like David's been skirting this issue a little bit and redirecting it back to, who are other Greeks who should be in the Odyssey?
Do you see what he did? He went straight to a document as if the document was to blame.
Right.
Well, he did say that he Googled and got some wrong information.
I was trying to see. It is.
Oh, no, I'm not even on there.
AI David.
That's what I'm saying.
I might take this up a little bit. Why are you not on here? Why is Chris Angel on here?
Wow.
But he would be great.
Not surprising.
He would be good.
Yes.
Okay, then fine. Then why is Spyro T. Agnew on here? Yes, a famous Greek American.
Wow.
Pretty good actor.
Was
He's been
he?
in a
Wow,
couple
that's
things.
I guess he lied to the American
So
people.
all
Yeah,
these people
form
are
of acting.
above.
I believe that Spiro T. Agnew was in Barney Miller. One episode.
One
He
episode.
probably was. He
One
probably
episode.
was.
I am shocked.
Michael
All these people-
Chiklis?
Yeah, Chiklis is Greek.
There you
Yep.
go.
I'm surprised that Zach isn't like so high. I mean,
Zach is
is he?
third.
oh, okay. So you just
behind
didn't read it.
Aniston
Oh,
and
okay.
Stamos. Yeah,
That makes sense.
He's
Who's
up
the
there.
first person you said?
Jennifer Aniston.
Jennifer Aniston.
Have you heard of
Yeah.
her?
Yeah.
I mean, I do
Her
feel
dad,
like
very Greek.
How many times have you played a Greek guy?
A
Like, is
handful.
Rafi canonically Greek?
No. Oh, no. I've played everything else and Greek only a
I was
handful
about
of times.
to say, I feel
you
like
got the Shaloub career.
Oh, very much so.
Yes.
Very
Yes.
much
they
so.
just drew
Yes.
a big circle on that
And we're
world
like,
map, and you were like, "You're
are-
here."
Yes, anything that the Mediterranean touches, you can play.
100%.
Is what casting directors decided, and then they decided it later. You can't do that. Actually,
We just got to
forget that. Forget that.
Yeah. No, I think I am sorry. I apologize.
Wow.
And I think especially
Wow, I love
because
this.
I think the ultimate insult of it, if I can take ownership for this,
Mhm, mhm.
is not only were we listing prominent Greek
Yes.
American actors and we forgot to mention our
Not
friend,
even
friend of his show.
Yeah.
friend of the show, friend of our personhood, but also that in compiling the list that we left you off of, we say to Stavi, like, yeah, this list is pretty shitty. You could very quickly be the greatest Greek actor in Hollywood.
By the way, he could.
He could.
I'm not taking anything away from Stavi, who is fantastic.
Here's what I want to say. I like Stavi a lot. I've been on his show. He's a great guy. I think this is a Stavi issue because he doesn't know that you're Greek.
Stavi should know.
You're saying
Stavi,
he should have.
Stavi
Here's
should
what I'll
know
say.
who's on his
You
block.
know.
Here's what I'll say. I'm
Greek-
not laying this at Stavi's feet only because I've never even met the man.
Okay.
And
But
David
Greeks
and
should
Griffin
know
and I
Greeks.
text
That's what I-
frequently.
You're not leaving it at his sandaled, togaed.
We need to bridge this.
Oh, I'm
divide.
certain.
I guess it's
Yeah.
an LA, New York.
It is
thing
a.
a
I
little
think
bit.
it is an LA.
I
New
don't
York.
But you're
think-
here in New York. You're here in
Maybe
studio.
we will make
You're
this
here
happen.
for the next
I
week.
don't
Yeah.
think you could handle recording at Stavi's.
Is it? Oh, why?
It's in his apartment, and I think that you would have a problem with it.
Yeah, maybe.
I
He also lives
I
in an
had-
egg factory.
Oh no.
I've been there, and I loved it. I
Not
had
a
a great
chicken
time.
coop,
but
an egg
it-
factory.
Of all the things, I have a.
So Paul knows Jason very well and
Yes.
like works with him. So
You
like
guys are
Paul seems to
friends,
have
yeah.
insight here.
Oh,
I could say to you that I don't think that if
I
he's-
trust Paul.
Yeah, I would not say you would feel comfortable going.
I trust Paul to know exactly what I'm capable of withstanding.
Sure.
A lovely experience in every way, but it's gonna be right up your alley. The show will be great. All
You
right.
guys will also, I think, and I know I'm not at all interested in making you feel bad. I'm also
No,
just
we gotta wear this like Flavor Flav wears a cloth.
Here's the other thing. As I walk away from this, I'm also, just so everybody knows, I'm not at all interested in this episode going long, in this being some sort of record setter. I'm here to talk about the movie, and that's that.
Train on the track.
I'll tell you that
I know. Oh, sorry, Paul.
go
I
ahead.
know that you guys don't necessarily listen to our podcast, but you overlapped recently with our podcast because we, in a recent episode, started establishing a group of young actors who are all in a cohort together
Okay.
that
Sort of
we
a
are
pussy
calling.
posse type.
Yes,
Right.
that
right.
we. This is how it began. That
Right.
we are calling the Geek Squad.
or the
Okay.
or the G Squad, but the
Okay.
G Squad is technically a band, a K-pop band. So
And
we
it's
are
also
geek.
it's also Ryan Gosling, fucking Giovanni Ribisi. I'm trying to think of who was in Gangster Squad. Help me out
yeah,
here.
there's Squad.
Sean
Look,
Penn.
Mackie,
Mackie,
Brolin.
but I think
Mackie,
Sean
Brolin.
Penn's the villain.
He is.
Oh,
He's
right?
Mickey.
Yeah.
Um,
Mickey Cohen, I
yes.
think.
We
Yeah.
went
A
down
nuanced
with
performance.
with
I
Jake
assume.
Johnson. We went down a rabbit hole
Okay,
of
okay.
who's in the Geek Squad and who's not. And I feel like you guys did a similar. You guys were creating a similar list. So this is something I believe we could really team up
And
on.
what we have kind of established in
Which
our,
episode was this in, by the way?
this was in
Jake
the
Johnson. What
it
did-
was
what was the
Grizzly
movie?
to the Revenge.
Got it. Cool.
And it
Continue.
is primarily a conversation of who is in
Great.
the Geek Squad.
Okay.
We're talking Jacob Elordi. We're
Yep.
talking Florence Pugh. We're talking
But
Chalamet.
There's been a lot of conversation because it was sort of like who belongs, who doesn't. Like we feel like Zendaya is out of the geek. Like she's kind of a
Too cool.
she's on the but the Geek Squad is not
It's not like-
representing nerds.
Right. No,
That's
I
the
understand, I
important
understand
thing.
what you're saying.
They're
It's
the
not
people
that
that
they're-
help.
But like Glenn Powell's not in
He's
no.
not Geek Squad.
No way.
Right,
But
right,
see,
right,
I
right.
think what you're getting at
Even
here
though
is,
he's just sort of a peer of these guys.
did any
Right.
of you see Bratz, the Andrew McCarthy Brat
Yo,
Pack documentary?
I'm
I
obsessed with that.
I saw the
From-
movie about the dolls with the big heads.
Yes,
and
we
eyes.
did.
We also
We
saw
saw
that
that.
too
We
on
saw
the
that.
podcast.
for the
Right,
podcast.
yeah, I was about to say,
You're
that
welcome.
definitely is something
With a
you guys
Z.
covered. Yes.
But I feel like they all talk about that they got labeled in this way. These people who kept working together and would socialize together, even if not all 15 are going out to the same bar every night, and that some of them said, I don't want to be lumped in with this.
Yes.
And I feel like
Tom Cruise.
Zendaya...
That's what we were talking
Exactly. I feel like Zendaya is kind of the Tom Cruise. I would say she's in there, except she has, like, absolved herself
But
from
Tom
it.
Holland is Geek Squad.
Well, we were talking.
Well, he would be if he wasn't with her.
Well, that's what I think too. Like, there's a few things of what we're trying to figure out is, and this is the
and then
issue.
we will talk about the best.
Yes.
The fact that
this
we're
is a
in
tight episode.
the fact that, and by the way, our fans
And Paul does
absolutely
have a hard
hated.
out.
What is what? No, you know what?
Absolutely
I
hated the
just
Geek
pushed
Squad.
it.
They hated
I
the
pushed
Geek
it.
Squad.
Oh, I have a hard out at some point.
Okay, I pushed it. I said to Molly,
You
I
still
said,
have a family, huh? You still doing that?
He's still doing that.
the minute it started,
Can you believe it?
It's
I
actually
literally-
crazy the degree to which he's doing it, Jason.
Molly said to me, she said, remember, you have a heart out. And I said, you got it. And then that's my assistant.
Yeah.
And then, and as maybe 2 minutes into the podcast, I texted her, said, drop that.
I canceled
that
it.
out.
I canceled my 4 o'clock. I was
Drop
like,
it out.
Me too.
get rid
I
of
was
it.
like,
I think
go.
we could have
Drop
gotten
me
you out of here at 4.
I don't think so.
Well,
I don't
well,
think so.
I don't-
Maybe
no,
not
we
gotten you somewhere else at 4.
We haven't even introduced the
Right.
podcast yet. We got to talk about
Can
the
I
Geek
just-
Squad.
Father.
Can I tell you the one thing I had a dream about the podcast, and this is
Wow.
this is what I said.
Seek therapy.
Yeah, what did I said? I said this is the Coen brothers' Mad TV.
This thing.
This-
Absolutely.
this-
Oh,
That's
yeah,
movie.
great.
That's
And,
great.
and that was in my dream,
Paul?
and I'm bringing it to.
It-
I love
I
that.
say this in a nice way. It also feels like them digging through the fridge a little bit.
Yes.
And I don't mean that in a bad way, but just being like, we have these like leftover noodles.
But
Like,
I had this exact same thought on this rewatch. I went, we
got a
all know,
cantaloupe.
we all discussed this as the Coen brothers anthology film. Is this more the Coen brothers sketch comedy
It's
movie?
yes.
Right.
Yes.
Is
and
it
I
their
wanna-
Monty Python and the Meaning of
Yes,
Life?
that's
It is
what
a
I think.
series
Or
of
is it like-
sketches
or
built
is it like
around
that are
a
thematically
thematic-
linked.
Yeah.
Like you just read The Lord of the Rings and then there's the appendices. The appendices are interesting. But
Right.
it's sort of them being like, and here's like, here's what's left.
It's like thumbnail sketches, which I think
Right.
it's like when you see a great art exhibit, you might see like, oh, this is what they did, before they drew the Mona Lisa, or you see elements of things, and I feel like
It's weird. It's just Leonardo da Vinci's dick.
Yeah.
Just kept drawing it.
Exhibit.
it's a lot of dick based
With
stuff.
like just a clever smile.
It
For
feels
me,
like this dick's following me around the room.
the thing for me is like the how
The
it
pee hole's always looking at you regardless of where you are.
All right.
that urethra is following me.
Now that should be a blank check poster. A small drawing
Da Vinci's
of,
dick.
Da Vinci's dick.
Da Vinci's dick.
It
That's actually
feels
a
with
new Dan
multiple
Brown
arms.
novel. It's a new Dan Brown novel, and that's important. And Tom Hanks is circling. And what were you going to say?
I would love
He's
it.
going to come back to reprise that
I
character.
hope, and it's a crossover with the National Treasure movies.
Oh, I love it.
That would be funny if they both are like
Yes.
in parallel trying to get something.
at odds with each other.
Yeah,
Langdon
kind of
and
like
Gates.
like
I
kind of
want-
like a 21 Jump Street Men in Black, thing. Where it's
I
like, just
wanted
combo
those
them.
things.
Yeah,
I wanted
I
that.
wanted that.
My friend Rodney Rothman was going to write that
Yeah.
movie. Like, I'm desperate for somebody to do one of those.
Tatum's
Well-
been talking it up again recently. He's
Oh,
been
has
saying,
he?
I
Oh,
would
okay.
do it tomorrow.
Great.
The script
Well,
is great. We still talk about it.
Here's what I think was interesting, and without having seen Predator Badlands, the premise is, the
The
Predator.
Predator is in the movie Badlands.
Yes. And
It's
it's
Terrence
very
Malick's
slow, and
Badlands.
it's very dramatic.
I'm
But
waiting
no,
for Predator Days of Heaven. That's when I think they're really going to
Predator
crack.
Thin Red Line.
Yeah.
But there's there's a
The
Wayland.
Sam Shepard character is just played by a predator.
Well, I heard. There's a Wayland Yutani robot
Yes.
in Predator Badlands, and I love that. Like that kind of subtle crossover
Sure.
is really nice too, because it builds a universe without having to like jam them in
Yeah,
there,
yeah,
And I feel like just like letting universes exist are fun, and I feel like I think that we miss out on that. But now that everything's owned by 3 places, it feels like you would have a lot more.
Paul, please, 4 places. Come on.
Hold on, and breaking news, it's now 2.
Oh, wow,
oh
wow.
boy.
It went from 4 to 2.
This movie, this watch, I absolutely like all of these movies that I've been rewatching with you guys. Some, these are for me like the filmmakers of my lifetime. You know what I mean? The people for whom I started when I was a teenager watching them, discovering them, and watching those first bunch of movies. Miller's Crossing was the poster that hung in my college dorm. Like, truly, the number of times I said to people, take your flunky and dangle, is like shocking. Like I just was obsessed with the Coen brothers, and it helped that they never, with a few exceptions, they never really faltered, and they constantly were exploring and examining stuff that I also was interested in: detective novels, noir, shaggy detectives, like cruelty, man's vices,
genre riffs as means to interrogate the human condition.
And I would argue that even the ones that they miss, it was from a pure reason.
Yeah.
Like, this is my argument here, is I do believe that Netflix gave them a lot of money because it's early time in Netflix, and they were like, we want to make a big...
They want the cred.
We want cred. And like, I feel like...
Let's also call out this as Annapurna.
Okay, yeah.
A kind of forgotten, very important power player
Megan
in the 2010s of cinema.
Megan Ellison's company that was going to save cinema by bankrolling all of the young auteurs who the studios were like, no more, we're going to give you money,
this in a major way. But there used to be a better Ellison child who, with her father's money, said...
She still exists.
Oh, yeah. Annapurna still exists.
She kind of exists in the shadows, though. Like, she's largely pulled back.
Do they not have Bond anymore?
No.
They don't. Okay.
No, they don't have anything.
Okay.
But I felt like this is a movie, and I was looking at it and trying to think about it. I don't want to say it in a way that is mean, but it feels like it has a slight element of a cash grab where it's like, we're going to get a lot of money. Let's go do this thing that we kind of want to do, but we don't really have, but we can kind of, because it's not in the theater, we can kind of go and make this thing that is a little less formed than our other things. And I actually think that was great, because you get these like 7 great vignettes. And it's like, it's the only, that's in a weird way how I feel like streaming movies should be. It's like, oh, this is stuff that you can't put.
It should either be like bargain basement action garbage, right? Like DTV kind of stuff, or like kind of like, this is the squarest peg.
Pure
and it will not fit. Like, because this is an uncommercial movie.
Well, the
like,
Wes Anderson who's going to rush to this one? Kind of a similar exercise.
Great comp.
And in that, they did an even weirder release strategy with them. Right.
They broke them up. You can watch them rather as individual pieces, which I would love it if this was as well. And in that way that you're calling it a sketch movie, which I agree. But
every segment has a punchline. That's what really jumped out to me this time.
Are funny. These are so funny in the way that that Coen tone is so on display here. And the reality is, like, I love the wraparounds because it is like the Coens, I feel like, are always hearkening back to those things of their youth. And this is just Western frontier stories, a book of short stories that are pulpy and fun that might appear in like Field and Stream magazine.
With color prints.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. And I feel like it comes out at a time, correct me if I'm wrong, but in that time where even like Quentin Tarantino's playing around with like doing this like with Hateful Eight, or
he happens about a year after this.
Yes, and Hateful Eight does another thing when it goes to Netflix. And I was thinking about that, where when that goes to Netflix, he chapterizes it and makes it longer. It makes it longer, but more like a TV show. And it's like interesting. I love that breaking of form, and that's like the benefit of streaming to me. It's like,
the trailer for his now connected Kill Bill
playing at the Vista,
right? A whole bloody affair.
Yeah,
it's getting thrilled. Proper wide 35 and 70 release.
I mean, why the fuck
December.
Not? It's great. People pay money. One assumes.
And it was at the Vista. It was packed all the time, but it had French subtitles because it had only aired.
The only time they ever did it was at Cannes,
right? Oh, that's cool.
But yes, no, it's the kind of experimentation I would like to see. And 2018, a moment where you're like, oh my God, there's things like Annapurna coming into the world, going to filmmakers saying, what's the thing that no one else will let you make, giving them the money. And when no one else would release it, Netflix goes, why not? Like, it felt like these kind of maverick forces were actually opening up and letting weirder stuff get made. And as often is the case, it was like that's what they used to legitimize themselves before they could just fucking
commercialize it
out of
Remember
that
when
entirely.
Amazon's entire first batch of shows were all indie filmmakers and like interesting people like Steve Conrad,
Whit Stillman, right? Like all
well, I think
basically like going
salons.
to all those guys.
Joey Solomon,
who had lost their,
and then they were like, JK, we make Lord of the Rings for $1 billion, and that's all we do.
Well,
I was so good.
I mean, that really,
and
we've
all
been talking about.
Everybody watches it.
I can't stop watching. I'm watching it right now.
People stop me on the street and shake me to talk about the plot points of the Lord of the Rings.
Stick. Where does the stick come from?
You know what, Griffin? Why don't you introduce the podcast?
Oh, do we have to?
We should just
There's something
briefly
more
do that.
important we have to do first. We have to revisit the conversation about the Geek Squad because for me,
oh yeah, David's so upset.
I think there are a couple.
David's like, I thought I'd
much
successfully
like the
moved
John
them off
Hughes
of it.
films were kind of
Just,
the
we
centering
have big
force
guys in our podcast.
of
We won't
the
even
Brat Pack.
introduce
They
it.
started the conversation. We have to
You
finish
can't
it.
blame our
Griffin,
guests.
to your point, what we were talking about was that a lot of people in that documentary and don't want to be associated with the Brat Pack are so butthurt that they are lumped into this thing. And some people are like, yeah, who cares? Well, they call this the Brat Pack. Who cares?
The Brat Pack to me was the funniest documentary
Also, it
because
helped all of our careers.
Yeah.
yes, and but not Andrew McCarthy. And that's who's making the documentary.
The one who pushed back against it the most, which is what's interesting.
Right, because no one thought they were
He's
Brat.
clearly obsessed with it.
Yes, well, because he believes that his career was hurt by it.
Right.
And I feel like
he got put in a bucket and he resents it.
right.
Yeah,
But you could argue
put me in a bucket. Put me in a bucket of Greek actors. How about put me in a Greek American actor bucket that even my friends might recognize?
You'll never think it's going to be full of yogurt that's very heavy. It's like
so much oikos in here.
But I feel like I feel like that's like he also made bad movies. Like, and that's the other thing too. It's not like, oh, Andrew McCarthy made these 3 great films. And here's the biggest joke of it all. St. Elmo's Fire, not a good movie.
St. Elmo's Fire is ass. That movie sucks. People are nostalgic for it, and obviously I wasn't there. So
right,
I
but it's like for people of a certain age were like, this speaks to us, but it wasn't good. It doesn't last. It wasn't like, these are great actors. It was like, this is a shitty movie, but it captured a moment where we actually wanted to see all these people together.
Well, there was a combination of, I think, the word brat felt pejorative to them, and they didn't like the idea that they felt like it was taking them less seriously as actors.
Sure.
Unsurprisingly, you see Demi Moore, who's just like, look, this is an industry that looks for handles and hooks.
Right.
Like, if they want to use this to like identify me, then I'm run with it, and I'm working harder to prove myself beyond that rather than fighting it off.
But these labels,
Rob Lowe seemed like so like comfortable. And
Rob Lowe, it was the best time of my life. And his response to it was comically hilarious. Like, and I love that Judd Nelson was like, I'm not going to even dignify this with being
I'm not picking up the phone.
I'm not, won't even be in
Sorry,
this.
what were you saying, David?
Well, these names are usually somewhat like Frat Pack was also it's like it's a bit of a weird label. Geek Squad isn't exactly like the nicest thing to call people.
Geek Squad, the reason why we call it Geek Squad, because it may be confusing. We're using Geek Squad as the
person that bites the head off of the chicken at the, the
weirdos, you're saying.
No. It wasn't.
We were calling it more like the Best Buy Geek Squad because they're people who help older people use their technology. So these are young actors who are bringing older people into this. Like,
I'm rubbing my hands together. I get it. I see the vision.
You know what the Geek Squad does? The Geek Squad plays Bob Dylan so that the boomers go to the movies.
Yeah, there we go.
Exactly.
We're talking about.
Okay. And it's like I like that. I like that kid. He's good. He's
you know who I like? Elvis, the kid who played Elvis.
That guy was good. He looks like Elvis.
Classic Austin Butler, Geek Squad.
We've talked about.
I have our list.
You do?
I have. Yes. Okay.
Can I just say this before you start reading the list? Since I have talked about this, I feel like never on mic. But for me, the core of what you're talking about, I've never had a name for it, is 3 concentric circles that makes up the majority.
I agree.
It is the cast of Dune.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The younger cast of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
And Euphoria. Those are the 3 central rings in the circus.
And that is perfectly said. And I believe that's where
there might be a few outliers, but for the most part, you got it.
Chalamet being the number one where any Hollywood producer would be like, 0 things about this guy communicate A-list movie star to me. How does he never fail?
Well, this is I'll give you a couple of the names.
Yeah.
Timothy Chalamet, right? Obviously, right there. Austin Butler, right?
The Bear. Did we decide? Oh no, we took the Bear out.
We took Jeremy Allen out
because of Shameless.
But we put in a Lordy.
Yeah.
Margaret Qualley.
Big time.
Jenna Ortega, which we felt like 100%. Was, and then there was these debates. Like we already said no to Glenn Powell. He's not a part of that crew. No. Sydney Sweeney, not a part of that crew, even though she's in because it's like you needed
she's kind of doing her own thing
with that new movie, the boxing movie. It may change it, but I feel like she's over here.
She's also in 2 out of the 3 of the circles.
Yeah.
And I also I'm like, is she like Cusack, where you're like,
oh, interesting.
He was in the movies with them and was doing his own thing that was very lateral to them, but you don't really put him in.
She's also best friends with the Pivens.
She's best friends with the Pivens.
Just
Chicago
like
actress.
Cusack. Yeah, Geek Squad.
Only posts great politics.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Geek Squad is like, and you're right, it is all of these people and all of the kind of infrastructure around them that is making all of these nonsense movies.
And I think it's important that they work together a lot, that they feel like a class that has risen together, that they're unified by certain filmmakers and certain subjects and whatever, because that's where these things happen of like, there's an energy being transmitted, at times the collaboration, at times the competitiveness.
Well, it was interesting because we talked about Nicholas Hoult and we're like, well, what does he fall into this? And we're like, not really, because he's been around too long.
I think like Nick Hoult, the Fannings, they've just had huge careers. They're not part of Geek Squad.
And they started young, and they were sort of like Geek Squad before there was a Geek Squad. They were sort of running independently because there wasn't.
To harken back to True Grit, I don't think Haley Steinfeld is Geek Squad. There's a great
She's Coen Avengers.
You guys didn't yeah, that's true. You guys didn't mention this in the episode, but I have a couple of Coen stuff that from different episodes that I just want to mention.
More bones?
This is not a bone. This is just one of the things a couple of things that I've loved in interviews that, like I said, I'm obsessed with the Coens. In True Grit, there is a great Fresh Air interview with them, and they talked about how on True Grit, there were more rules protecting them putting the horses in the cold river than there were protecting them from putting Haley Steinfeld.
Right, an underage
They were like, she could spend more time in the water than the horses. And that was like a crazy thing. The other thing that I love about them, and this is from years ago, there was a podcast called Creative Screenwriting where the guy would ask the same questions to screenwriters, and one of which is, what do you do when you come up against writer's block? And the Coens' answer was, we go to our respective offices and we take a nap. And when we wake up, usually one of us has a solution.
I love that.
And they jacket. They're not saying
they jack it down.
You got to jack it.
Yep.
You jack it down.
You just got to jack it down. No, that's great.
Right.
That's great.
Jack it down
You
to
got to
zero.
alleviate your erection to then come back and have a more
You have
fluid
to
idea.
relieve
Jack
yourself
it
of
all
your
the way
power
down.
so you can focus on your art.
Yep. Get the poison out.
Get the poison.
Now, I guess, go ahead.
Introduce our podcast.
David.
Quickly.
Begrudgingly.
Our guests.
It can happen. It can happen.
This is
I
blank
think the
check.
last time it was an hour in. We're only 36
You know, the
minutes.
first
We're
time
running
it
ahead
was
of schedule.
the first time it never happened.
The first time it straight up never
There's a
happened.
time it never happened.
It was
good.
The first time the show was never
That's
introduced.
good. That's a good podcast.
Wow, all right, yeah,
that's
that's
actually
good.
elite podcast.
Yeah, that is.
Was that used cars?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, because used cars, big trouble.
That's it.
Yeah.
No, well,
As the duo.
Yeah.
As the duo.
Each of us have done
No, wait,
individually.
You guys haven't been on since Big Trouble?
There's what's the other one I'm forgetting? There's another
there's
one
one
that
more.
happened
There's
last
one more.
year.
There is?
Yes. Yeah, there was.
Last Action Hero.
Yes.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
That's right.
I'm so sorry.
That's right. No, you're right. But it was
absolutely
on
right.
Zoom. Yeah,
This is
yeah,
the
yeah.
I'm so
fourth
sorry.
hero performance.
Well, we've always been on Zoom.
We've been on,
together.
which is so.
Yes.
It's so great to have you guys
Yeah, right, this is
in
great.
And
In the studio.
in the
you came
studio.
in the studio once before for
for a watch along of a James
Tomorrow
Bond.
Never Dies.
Tomorrow Never
Okay,
Dies. And
yes.
of course, we
Oh.
talked to Paul a million years ago for Running Scared.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
That was the
yeah,
first
million years
ever
ago.
not in person episode.
Wow.
We carved out an exception only for
I
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I'm happy to talk about that movie because I still believe that is a great template for action
I
comedy.
agree.
And it's so hard to find that balance still to this day.
It has gotten worse in the years since we talked about that movie, especially as it's become the domain of streaming services.
Well, I mean, and I'm going to tell you, I have not watched it yet, so I can speak to it. I'm too scared to watch the
I've seen
Shane. Okay.
Play Dirty.
Yeah.
I've seen it, and I'll talk about it. I talked to Ed Brubaker a bunch about it.
the great Ed Brubaker.
The great
Friend of the show.
Yes,
the
great
friend of the show. We love him. This is the Shane Black Play Dirty movie. That's an
adaptation of the Parker, one of the Parker books.
Do you notice
or
I'm not
a couple of
introducing
the
the
Parker
podcast? I got him distracted. Go on.
I just introduced a showing of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang at the
The
Nighthawk this week.
The
And
greatest.
I was thinking about
One
Shane
of the
Black.
great, true. And have you seen Play Dirty?
No, and that's what I was. I was like, I
got
cannot
to-
believe he has a movie. I could watch it on my TV
Right,
anytime.
but that was I was
interesting.
nervous.
I haven't done it yet.
I was
So,
nervous. I
want to recommend the Parker books. I especially
I
want to
know,
recommend the
right,
Darwin Cook graphic novel adaptations of the Parker books,
I
which
love
are
Darwin Cook.
unreal and beautiful. And Ed Brubaker helps put them out.
Rest in peace. to Darwin Cook.
R.I.P. a legend, Darwin Cook.
True.
His Catwoman is amazing. Incredible.
I love that Catwoman.
Incredible.
Yeah.
New
Incredible.
Frontier,
Yeah.
like a lot of great shit.
Next level. Anyway,
which I believe New Frontiers is the basis of what James Gunn is going
I think
for.
like
Gunn is
Seems like
drafting
it.
off that.
Yeah.
line.
Seems like it.
Seems like it.
And he's smart.
Yeah, I think so.
I really enjoyed Play Dirty.
great.
And the stuff that didn't work for me felt like some VFX stuff was kind of like mushy and not great. And I ended up being, there were certain moments that I was like, oh, this didn't need to be so VFX. This could have been a smaller moment. But I mean, nonetheless.
Even Nice Guys, which I adore, has a couple of those things where I'm like, this action sequence didn't need to be quite this big. This has a little bit of that.
Studio notes going, make it bigger. And then you can see in the product that he didn't really care to make it bigger. And he's like, yeah, does that work?
Because it's still a small time Parker heist kind of grind. And Wahlberg, it was supposed to be Downey Jr.
Yeah, it was Downey Jr. theatrical.
And I don't mind that it's not Downey Jr. because Parker is such a fucking asshole.
Good Wahlberg
Parker
casting.
And Wahlberg, Parker is a brutal, absolute, ruthless, humorless, charmless person. And Downey Jr. is not at all that. And Wahlberg does a good job of that, but I have seen and heard criticism where people are like, oh, he's just so unlikable. He's just blah, blah, blah. And that's Parker.
But I do feel like that's, do you have any relationship with Wahlberg at this point? I mean, you made the movie
from the movie Infinite, where I played the artisan.
You did play the artisan.
And by the way, again, now I'm going to have to come in with a song. And I was in Daddy's Home.
Oh, yeah.
And that's right.
We're in Daddy's Home.
But I mean, is he a guy who's like, hey, Jason, like, come see Parker?
That wasn't on me. That was on him.
I thought
it doesn't seem like his vibe.
He is not at all a person who is like, hey, Jason. And I think if you were to show him my picture and be like, who is this?
Right.
Yeah. He would be like, I have no idea.
Would he be like, I might have worked with this guy?
Maybe.
Yeah, you also,
1,000 people
nobody
look
looks
like
like
you know what?
And you're always changing the way you dress. And like, you know.
If he was shown a picture of you, I bet you what he would do is pray on it and figure out the pray.
Probably. He'd pray on it.
But
he'd throw it up on Holler.
He has this nervy vibe on screen now that he didn't. I mean, he's always been a little that, but like, I do feel like with him on screen lately, I'm like, are you having fun?
Well,
like, you always seem so bummed out.
This is what I will say about him.
Sure.
And it's with very few actors. They're either great, terrible, or like you don't know what you're going to
famine. I completely
and
agree.
It's like and sometimes you're just like, I don't even understand, like, and I think it's a lot about the director. And I think if the director is hard on him or really has a point of view, you get a great performance. If it's like Max Payne and it's like, I'm just going to show up and do my thing, because Sam Jackson can do that. Sam Jackson,
Max Payne is such a good call. That's where he's like, the whole movie you can feel him being like, what the fuck is this?
100%.
Why am I in this?
No reason for it. And it's like, and so I feel like that kind of, like, when he decides he's going to direct himself, I think that's when you get the bad Mark Wahlberg.
Yes.
Whereas like Sam Jackson, I think from stories I've heard, will decide to direct himself and
always delivers. I've heard this as well.
I have heard him say out loud at a bar, that motherfucker tried to read my lines to me.
Oh my God.
About a director.
The Wahlberg thing that is interesting to me is, like, we have covered many films in which an auteur tries to cast him against type to disastrous results, right? Like Truth About Charlie, The Happening, Planet of the Apes to a degree. There was another one I was just thinking about, but like Lovely Bones is obviously one of these that we haven't covered yet, right? And then there's like smart directors.
God, we will have to cover it.
We will cover it someday.
That's an F.
Smart directors casting him intelligently, right?
Right.
Understanding.
Departed is like a great.
Exactly.
But the whole magic of Departed is he doesn't want that role.
Totally.
That's why he's so good in it.
Right.
You can feel him looking at Leo being
the
like,
tension.
I could do what you're doing.
I should be where you are.
Similar with fucking Boogie Nights. He's never stopped apologizing to Jesus for being in Boogie Nights.
And it's
right?
so
the fact that
crazy.
both he and Burt Reynolds do not want to have been in that movie is nuts.
It's like a peak for both of them.
What's fascinating about him is you're like, of course he's bad when directors misunderstand how to use him. And of course he's great when directors are really smart about a slightly unconventional way to use him and to harness his energy. The middle is the part that's confounding, where you're like, hey, Mark Wahlberg, play a cop in a movie that costs $40 million. He should be okay at this, right?
Right. Well,
and he just bottoms out.
I mean, Spencer, I think the reason why I've had a hard time turning on this film is because of Spencer for Hire, which I was like, oh.
What a miss.
Because it seems to me like,
what an opportunity.
Like that could have been a great, fun franchise.
Those books, those stories, Hard Boiled, Pete Berg, like I was like, I'm going to love the Boston.
But that was sort of the beginning of me being like, I think Pete Berg might just not be, I used to love the stuff he was doing.
Well, yeah, when he was a Michael Bay acolyte, you know.
Pete Berg seems like he likes to fly in LAPD flown helicopters and show off guns on Instagram. Like, you know, not even just in a way like, this is cool. Like, it's like,
when the announcement is Robert Downey Jr. is re-teaming with Shane Black to do an adaptation of like a legendary noir character. For theaters, you're like, that's what I want everyone in that sentence to be doing. And then when it becomes Shane Black is doing a streaming crime movie with Mark Wahlberg, it immediately feels like, yeah, I know what that is.
Yeah.
I've seen that a ton of times, even if it's the better version of that.
Totally.
I have also only heard good things from everyone I know who's seen it, with the like qualifier of there is some stuff in it that feels like streaming bullshit.
Is it as
There
good
are
as
notes-
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang?
Right.
No, but is it unsuccessful? Not at all.
I-
I had a blast.
Yeah.
You see, the movie that I feel like I liked that I'm now going to be embarrassed to admit it to you all, but because I feel like no one liked it, but it kind of scratched that same itch was it called The Instigators? It was like a Boston movie
the
with
Damon-
Matt
Oh,
Damon
yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
Casey Affleck.
Yeah.
That was something that bounced. It was
That's
It's a
it.
lineman?
The
That's a
Instigators.
is that a
Doug Liman.
COVID movie? Did that movie get
No,
bounced?
it
No.
feels like it should
It
have
does.
been.
It's Casey Affleck,
But
right?
Yeah,
it's
it
like a
Damon.
2024 Apple TV movie.
And I
And I
remember
kinda-
being hyped for it as like trashy fun, and it kind of bounced off me in that streaming way of like, if you don't get me quick, I'm kind of
Right. I think I watched it on a plane. I was like, oh, I'm okay with the like,
maybe
like,
good on a plane,
But I think what the difference is,
It's a porch movie.
it is a porch
well,
movie.
it's trying
Yes.
for that.
Well,
Thank you.
and
Gotta
because
add it to my list.
because we have two guests in the studio today, I'm not introducing them. Paul is at Ben's usual desk.
I know. I feel uncomfortable.
Ben
about
has
it.
assembled an ad hoc setup, including a mic being held together with duct tape.
Oh, you had to mention
no, because
that.
it has porch vibes in a good way.
It is.
Alright.
It is that is a porch vibe thing, and you should have had your can taped to it as well.
Yeah.
Like I feel
Yep.
like a can cozy. Like
Yeah.
I feel like there should be like I made this. I didn't have to buy a cup holder for $2 on Amazon.
He has like an ad hoc, like producing engineer setup on the AV cart with a half-built Lego Batman movie Joker mansion underneath
I
it and a duct
forgot
tape mic. It's perfect.
the
It
microphone,
looks good.
and I used the one that Sims broke.
Okay, well,
Oh.
And so
Well,
I had to throw something together.
It's good.
I
during,
love it.
during
I love
one of
it.
his Sims temper tantrums.
Yeah. During I was trashing the place.
I
in
said
one
the
of
word
my alcoholic
Juilliard and
wine
Sims
raises.
ripped the microphone
You're
off.
like primetime Letterman after a bad show.
Look at the pencils in the ceiling.
But I was gonna say
So many people in the audience are like, "Who's Letterman?"
I was gonna say
The guy
that-
from the nodding beard meme.
I don't even know what that is. I'm learning so much about memes today.
But Mark Wahlberg is an actor that in a movie that may bounce off you feels like he's giving it his all. Like, and I feel like that's the difference.
Yeah.
Like I don't ever feel like Mark Wahlberg, even when he's on Entourage.
I'm gonna need you to watch Infinite.
Wait. Oh no. Sorry. I'm saying the wrong person.
Oh.
Matt Damon.
Yes.
Oh.
Sorry. Matt
Hard
Damon.
agree.
Sorry.
Yes.
That's it. When
Agreed.
Matt Damon is the guy who I feel like is the anti-Wahlberg because he is. It's always interesting. It's like
Damon has always given
Well,
everything.
this is what you
100%.
guys were saying
He has
on
tried
the
his
True Grit
hardest to make it
episode.
work.
Is there are so many different categories of Damon, and he is successful in every one of them. Damon as leading man, Damon as supporting character,
As
Damon
action star, as dramatic
cameo,
star. Yep, all of it.
in a side character in a movie like Interstellar. Those are all successful.
The one thing I'm very interested because you look at Wahlberg's career of late, and it's this mix of stuff like Infinite, sort of straight to streaming. I know that was not intended for streaming, COVID
But, I mean,
casualty. but-
It would have been. It still would feel that way
Right.
if it wasn't.
Sort of
What's the streaming movie doing in
which-
theaters?
somewhat anonymous action stuff that
Which
he looks
is
kind of
shocking
bored
because let me be clear, it is an
It's an
Antoine
expensive
Fuqua
movie.
movie
Yeah,
that
yeah.
cost well over $100 million
Yeah.
and was a blast to make.
in. Right.
But that's
I had
also-
so much fun.
That's the panic fire. That movie got caught up in the panic fire of everything's streaming.
It just that's the only
everything
way.
goes.
Right.
And thank God for Tom Cruise, who's the only one who was able to control. I mean,
Right.
he was the only movie that did not go to streaming that was done.
Do you
And
remember that announcement? It was like parallel with the Warner Brothers Project Popcorn. Every movie is going to HBO Max day and date. Paramount announced that every theatrical release of theirs would be on Paramount Plus within 2 weeks. And they had forced Cruise's hand and made the announcement, or they were trying to force his hand. They publicly announced, and that will also apply to Top Gun Maverick. And he was like, it will not. Like they had tried to get him to throw it on Paramount Plus in 2020, in 2021. He holds it to 22, and they're like, sure, it comes out Memorial Day. It will be on Paramount Plus by June. And he was like, no, it will.
and you know, and I will say that he continues to hold it tight because even Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning, he held that from VOD for way longer than any other film.
I spent 5 months waiting on my fucking Steelbook
I got my
pre-order.
Steelbook. I got that, and I came the other day. I was like, oh wow. And you know what? I'll tell you this much: I was brought in. I was brought in to.
David's having a great time.
I had to host. I didn't have to. I was hosting a screening of The Final Reckoning.
You had the privilege.
I had the privilege, and I was shown footage of the movie, and I had to get my reaction to it. But they showed a documentary about that biplane scene.
That shit is unimpeachably
it's
unbelievable.
Yeah.
And
2 perfect sequences in that movie.
Never have seen it since. It's not on the DVD. It's not on the Steelbook.
Fuck.
Oh,
And
the thing they showed you?
The thing that they showed me, I don't know why, because it's similar. What's on the DVD is similar. But the footage is different.
Huh.
And I was like, why is this not out there? Because it was one of truly the most thrilling things I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It actually makes it look way more dangerous than the documentary does.
David, will you please get back to what's on the computer?
I wanted to finish
so
my point
upset.
about
Wahlberg?
Wahlberg
Yes,
before we introduce this podcast. So half streaming garbage, half this sort of inspirational stuff he'll do, like Family Plan, Arthur the King, the one where he's with
Family Plan's more dumb family comedy. It's not inspirational.
Right.
But there's
I think
a
it's a
second
family
one.
drama.
It's inspirational.
Family
But
Plan's closer to murder mystery.
But I mean, where does the movie with Topher Grace and the airplane fall? That's
that's inspirational because Mel Gibson is his Lord and Savior.
Oh, God.
But that was at least, I mean, that movie doesn't work, but I guess that's sort of like, I guess I want you doing this kind of stuff, like
it's
playing
more
big,
what I want him
being a
to.
villain.
Yes.
But he has a movie coming up called By All Means in, I think, 2026, directed by Elegance Bratton, who made that movie, The Inspection, a very solid debut, I thought, where he plays Gregory Scarpa, who is like a famous mafioso who went informant in like the 70s or 60s or whatever, with like Mark Wahlberg, Yahya Abdul-Mateen.
Yes.
Sounds,
I'm in.
David Strathairn. This just kind of sounds like something.
Yeah.
This is something where I'm like, okay.
Do you think this is the other thing about him and what I've been thinking about with him? I know he's trying to launch that Vegas or that Nevada Warner Brothers or whatever that is.
Do you think he just had to avoid anything interesting while he was doing that?
I think he's like, let's shit out as many of the, let's boom, boom, boom.
Just kind of keep the boring Wahlberg pipeline
and like
for
raising
a while.
money, working with more investment companies,
and because
building more capital.
They all feel like, some of them feel like real direct to DVD, but then you can go, oh, but a year ago he did $100 million movie. Like, it's like, I feel like that studio has failed.
It seems like it, but it definitely felt like he was trying to start an entire side industry. Like he was trying to Tyler Perry it.
But it was also under the Warner Brothers banner, or it was a big studio banner, and they had moved things out there. And it actually, I thought in many respects, made sense. Like, all right, well, they have a tax credit, you have land, you can go shoot this thing. And I guess maybe at the end of the day, if he's the face of it, maybe it doesn't take off as much. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting because we have to remember it's not that long ago that he was considered one of the most successful producers in town.
Yes.
Boardwalk Empire, Entourage, that whole HBO run was like, oh, Mark Wahlberg and that company are producing on a huge level. Maybe he is someone to go in on it with.
Introduce our podcast.
I really was trying to wait for the hour mark.
We have to stop talking about Mark Wahlberg. He's not in this movie.
Wait, he's not in this movie?
He's definitely not in this movie. Can we check the cast?
Yeah, check.
Really?
He's not in it.
He's not in The Girl Who Got Rattled?
Introduce the podcast.
By the way, can we talk about that now? Yeah.
We're both doing the same thing. He also has a clothing brand called Municipal.
Podcast. No, this is important.
But by the way, when I went to the Celtics game the other night, and he has a special branding deal with the Bruins and the Celtics. Only Municipal clothes there. And I was like, and I looked at the quality of it. I said, that's a good quality.
Introduce the podcast. I do want to talk about this movie a little bit.
Yes,
I want to talk about this movie a lot.
Well, then you're wasting time. I'm getting serious. You're wasting time.
I'm not wasting time.
You are, because I'm going to have to leave, and you're wasting
time. At what time?
Ben, can you read what
Griff,
the logo
you know when I have to leave. You know how my life works. Let's introduce the show. I am now officially really annoyed. I'm going to be honest with you.
Oh,
here we go. Let's go.
Not with you guys, with him.
With me?
Yes, with you.
Not with them?
I said introduce the podcast. You're like, oh, I was really hoping to get to an hour. Why? Let's go. Let's talk.
Now you're holding him back.
Now you are.
Who am I holding back?
This is Blank Check, the show about filmographies,
Jesus.
the directors and who are given a blank check, and the movies that they make as a result. Sometimes those movies hit, and sometimes they don't. Baby,
I mean,
Close
that was
enough.
basically
Close
fine.
enough.
bounce.
Yeah.
Sometimes they bounce.
Yeah.
So sorry,
Yeah.
sorry.
Yeah.
I didn't know I was going to do it.
Who are our guests? This is just like that episode with Gethard where he has Jimmy Fallon. I think about it all the time. Do you remember that one?
What, you think we're blowing it on that level?
No, not on that level. Where I'm like, we have great guests, and then it's like we haven't introduced the show. We haven't introduced them.
Don't
It's
be
an hour in.
Here's the
David,
thing.
the show
No one
has
is-
been happening. The
I
show
It's been
know.
exists.
good.
No,
It's been great.
I know.
Everyone's been loving
I
it.
I
know.
do feel like this is the problem sometimes with podcasting. It's like you're not tuning in. You didn't tune in and go like, I'm confused.
Yeah.
You know, it just
You
showed
know.
up in your feed. You
Yeah.
know what you're listening
You
to
know what
before
you're
you
You
hit
know
play.
who the guests are.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's true. You do. That always does make me laugh with like, and we haven't introduced our guests, and I'm like, the app tells
Yeah,
you.
I
It's
know.
been doing that.
You're
Yeah.
the one doing that right now.
Well,
though.
here's what I'm going to say.
know,
The
I know.
shift to video podcasts now.
Yeah.
I'm looking like when the Doughboys have a guest and the person is on camera sitting there
It's awkward.
waiting
It's
to
awkward.
be introduced. I'm like, introduce them now
Well, that's
immediately.
I never
that's a
thought
direct-
about that.
That's a
Change
direct
the
media.
format.
I think the first
Change
sentence has
the
to
format.
be our guest today is.
Yeah, immediately.
then-
Or
Do you
just cut them. Just have a better shot.
Or
Tighter
do you
shot.
have them,
Or have them
wait?
enter.
Yeah.
Like, do you do the talk
Yeah.
show thing?
Yeah.
Like, let's
Yeah,
bring them
sure.
in.
No, just introduce them at the top and it's a formality. The show has been happening. Our show currently has been happening for
But this is
however
the issue
long.
with
A
video
great
podcasts.
55
Video
minutes. A
podcasts.
perfect 55
Like
minutes.
podcasts should be podcasts. Video shows should be video
I
shows.
agreed.
We should not have podcasts that are just we put
mean,
cameras
this I
in
agree
it.
This is
with you
Blank
completely,
Check.
completely.
That's Griffin. That's David.
There we go.
This is Paul Scheer, and
There he
I'm
is.
Jason Mantzoukas.
Who's
We are
producing?
from How Did This Get Made?
Yes.
But also
Producer
from Daddy's
Ben
Home,
is here.
from Infinite.
Yes.
Ben,
Producer Ben, Purduer Ben,
Purduer
the Ben, the Ben Deucer.
What's his Coens?
Boy,
I mean, I know
did
we
you
don't
come
really,
up with one?
I don't know. We don't really do this anymore.
The Ballad of Buster
Well, that's. Are you sure?
Scruggsley.
Wait.
How about Inside Lou and Ben Davis? Inside
Suggs.
Lou and Ben Davis?
Well, now it sounds like it's a Ben David Grabinski reference.
That's a
it is.
problem.
It is. Okay, let's get into it. Buster
We'll
Scruggs.
get into it.
This is a movie that to me I loved because, especially in this rewatch, because I was like, oh, this is not just a movie that is an homage to all of the Westerns and all of the John Fords, all that stuff. It's an homage to all of the Looney Tunes episodes that are the homage to all of those movies.
Yes.
Yep.
There is so much
Do you-
cartoon Looney Tunes stuff in
Especially-
here.
Did you go to
especially the first movie?
Did you go to the Vista when they were playing? What was the movie where it's the where there's a sex pillow and George Clooney's carrying it around all the time? I forget now.
I think it's Ryan Gosling is who you're talking about.
okay,
right?
is it-
It's Lars and the Real
Lars
Girl?
and the Real
no. This
Oh.
is.
Oh, you mean
I
Burn
thought-
After? No.
Yeah, It's a Coen Brothers movie.
Burn After Reading,
Burn
he builds
After
a
Reading.
sex
Right.
chair.
Yeah.
Has the
Yeah.
sex chair.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's
Yeah.
like, but they did I thought this was so cool when they played it there. They played Looney Tunes cartoons before the screening.
The Coens did, or just the
I think the
theater?
theater
Oh,
did.
yeah, the Vista.
And I thought that was a really cool. It was a great way to kind of like
There's
put your
a
brains
lot
to
of
it.
cartoon shit in
Have they
throughout.
ever talked about the Looney Tunes?
I wonder because it felt to me like they were doing both here. They were both, leaning into some of those great big classic Western themes, but then also how we have processed them through cartoons.
Oh, I mean, well, look, the opening scene is Bugs Bunny.
yes,
I mean, absolutely. I would argue, and maybe you guys will disagree with me, that the one segment I don't particularly care for as much as the
I
rest
wonder if it's the same for me.
is the second to last one, the one that is
I
the,
completely
the
agree.
longest.
I
and-
love
really?
I
And-
love it so much.
Oh,
Really?
that's so interesting.
Yeah, I find
the
it
Zoe Kazan one.
profoundly affecting.
Yes,
Yeah,
the
we'll
Zoe-
get into
It's
it.
effective.
We'll get into
It's
it.
effective.
Okay, so
I
affecting.
love that.
The
Okay.
one that for me I find that is the least interesting is the final one.
I agree with
Okay.
that. That is
with
my
the
opinion.
great Mark Lynn Baker.
I see. That is my favorite one.
Interesting.
I,
By far.
I really
What a
like
good
the last one
conversation. What a good episode.
because the last
It's
one
a good
to-
episode.
Yes,
great.
Talk
It's
about
been
Buster
great, and it's
Scruggs.
only getting better.
Well, because the last one I think is like
I don't know
it's-
how else this could end without it. Right. yes.
And it's like, and I feel like it's the Coens, like the other ones are like they're doing riffs on it, and then that one feels like they're really infused. I don't know, it feels different in tone and
It also-
style, and
I want them to take another movie, but I almost do want it to be the last thing they ever did, which is them
Yes.
being like Time to Die.
yes, I
like,
agree.
I
I agree.
I agree with you that it does feel like an ultimate artist statement in an interesting way. And obviously, like, I think this doesn't work as a movie where you watch it all the way through rather than separate, episodes without that being the end, because that's what it's all building up towards. And it also does feel like this is what our body of work has been about.
What is everyone's favorite? I just say your favorite. Just say your favorite off the top of your
Mine
head.
is the Tom Waits one.
Because that I feel like is Ben's favorite too. And
I mean, beyond. It is far and away my favorite.
Heavily features digging.
Yeah.
Digging. And you know what? It's not just weights, it's the shovel.
I think Ben and I both enjoy unearthing things.
Yes.
Yeah, in many ways.
The only difference is that Ben has buried it first.
That's
right.
And then I return to the jeans.
Yes.
Do you know that Ben was really recently stopped by the TSA
This is a real
on his honeymoon in Italy because he had a portable travel shovel.
I was going to joke because he had a shovel.
You didn't think you could buy a shovel in Italy?
I just wanted to be prepared.
Wait, why did he even need a shovel in Italy?
Because he wanted to bury some
jeans.
Italian jeans.
He had some digging plans.
Did you bring jeans as well, or were you going to buy those there?
I brought jeans, and what ended up happening...
All of this is real.
You taking them out of the suitcase and like sort of gesturing with the shovel to them?
Are you buying jeans, or are you sourcing denim? Like, what are you doing?
No, I buy new Levi's jeans.
Okay.
And then I ordered through Italian Amazon a collapsible shovel,
Amazone.
as well as a ceramic container to put the jeans in.
Got it. Okay.
You mean kind of like Etruscan vibes? Like you were going to go full like Chimera, like a ceramic container?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like for organs and so forth?
Oh, yeah, exactly. The fucking
we got there.
Container didn't arrive in time.
Sure.
But now you had
apologia.
Now you had it sent to your hotel?
Yes.
Wow.
So then I was like, well, it's a perfectly good shovel. It's still in the packaging.
I love it.
But they had a real problem with me bringing that shovel.
It's a weapon.
And his
security.
wife texts me, POV, my husband arguing with the TSA because they found a portable shovel in his bag. And it's filmed for far enough away that you can't hear it. And it's Ben just gesticulating.
Is it like one of those like Karen videos you see on YouTube of like
and she's like investigating a shovel and calling over her.
Well, they kept being like, why do you have this? And I was like, I don't know.
Did they let you through with it ultimately?
No, they took
it. They seized it.
By the way, this interaction is very much like the time I was in the Orlando airport and the woman in front of me had a handgun in her purse. And
wow. An escalation.
She
in
was
Florida?
In
Florida, that's so weird.
In her defense, she was going to Disney World.
Well, she had like a quilted purse. She did not look like a person that you would think would have a large handgun in her purse,
not a Derringer.
It was a big ass like automatic gun, and when she opened it, she was like, "Oh, well, yeah," but she's like, "But it's for me. It's my care." She was so
right. She's not. I'm not bringing anyone else a gun.
Right.
It was, this is my gun.
Yeah, the idea that it was
put it
like,
in a Ziploc bag, they told me to.
Yeah, she's like, and I'm not gonna use it for the plane. I'm just bringing this gun for me.
This is a carry-on. This is my personal item.
I assure you, this was not intended to be used on the plane.
And I was standing behind her watching it, and everyone was so calm. I was like, this is a gun. She was like, wow, you guys are really giving me a hard time about this gun.
Give me the business with this handgun.
Yeah, she had no like, oh my God, I can't believe it.
It's not like shoes or cigarettes where you're like, oh, when did they change the rules? It's like, you were never really allowed to bring guns.
Every once in a while, I'll accidentally arrive at the airport with a Leatherman in my backpack. And I'm always like, oh no, I'm so sorry. I am like, throw it away, please throw it away. The idea that somebody would accidentally bring a gun,
right,
just as absentmindedly, is hilarious.
And it feels like the way you're describing it, she was treating it as if, I forgot to dump out my water bottle before putting it through the metal detector.
And she was so, and she was just talking about it like no remorse, and also like, but it doesn't have bullets in it,
right?
Like, and
you really can't just let me take the water bottle on the plane.
It was great. So they took the shovel from you.
So digging movie is your Paul. What is your favorite?
Well, I mean, and I don't want to shirk it here, but I was gonna say that I really do believe the bookends of it are my two favorites. Okay, but
Buster's my favorite.
Yeah, because I think that like that opening, like I feel like it encapsulates in many respects everything I love about the Coens in those two.
Buster Scruggs might be the only one where I have just the tinge of like, this is perfect as a sketch. It's perfect. I almost just want like I want more of it. Like it's the only way. Everything else, I'm like, this is ideal.
But I think that that's actually the reason why for me it works, because
you're probably right.
Because I think that the minute you go, oh, it could have been a second shorter. Like you always want to leave people wanting more, especially with a comedy thing. I feel like,
it is the only one though that feels like it leaves me wanting more, because you're like, man, you could do so many fucking things with this
so
character.
many funny things.
Well, you want him to come back.
To see him locked in like that. And he's always good.
I remind you,
especially when he was controlling the actions of Red Hulk, our president.
Oh, we love
Salute
that.
our president.
Villainous leader.
I remind you, I gave him.
Do you think he has the iPad? The action figure has the iPad?
They didn't make one.
No. Why not? Why not?
Are we talking about the thinker?
The villainous leader.
Leader. I'm sorry, the leader.
The thinker, of course, is Peter Capaldi.
Thank you.
The Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Megan the Suicide Squad. But no, this is the thing. I was sending David many texts about this that he loved and responded to really quickly. But
about the toy,
the multiple reshoots of Captain America.
Giancarlo Esposito completely added him. And you can tell because when they have their conversation, they walk into a dark cave. It's like they go, like he's like, "Come in here." All right, sure. And
it's a Dustin Hoffman Little Fockers thing where he keeps popping up around a corner and going, "I need to talk to you about something, but far away from any other principal actor."
Go over here. Come on.
And then you can go back to the scene you were just in. Can I
meet me on Reshoot Street?
It is so funny when you look at those scenes, like what's going on in the background, where they have just come from. I love it all.
All of the merch of Tim Blake Nelson as the leader is an entirely different design than what's in the movie.
Really?
Because they shot the entire film one time with an entirely different look for the character, and then reshot every second of his footage.
Wow, so we got to talk to Jesse Falcon about that.
That's cool. That's amazing.
You should talk to Jesse Falcon.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Oh, I know. You should definitely talk to him about that. Didn't get a Marvel Legend, but like the Funko Pop. They're like t-shirts.
Wow.
Where it's him with like little glasses and like natty combed hair.
Oh, wow.
And he's like dressed like a college professor versus his like zombie
elongated hair.
Right. Instead of the like bumpy brain, it's a tall head.
I feel like
which is the comics.
It's going for the original comics.
Yeah. It's a bummer. It's a bummer because I feel like,
I just feel like Red Hulk had a great domestic agenda and he didn't get to execute it.
And now he's trapped in that island jail.
And the hard thing for Red Hulk is because of the shutdown, he's not getting any of his policies.
He's also not getting his pills.
No, he's got to get those pills.
You gotta get those pills.
Give me that.
By the way, I was so upset. My son had never seen a Marvel movie. My son never had seen a Marvel movie. We went to Comic-Con this year.
Yeah.
And
I met your kids at Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so there was this moment where we got home. Like, what is a Marvel movie?
How old is your son?
11, and the other one's 9.
Well, and also, let's call out the last time you were on the show for Last Action Hero. Yeah. You talked about that your sons have always been pretty disinterested in movies.
Yes, and
that was one of the first movies they liked.
Yes, and Last Action Hero is a big. We've now been big movie now, so it's been working really good for us. But I've watched I did a curated selection of it because they really wanted to watch Endgame, and I was like, we can't start there. Let's go. And I created a crash course to get us to Endgame, and then we went backwards. But they kept on going. When can we see the Red Hulk? When can we see the Red Hulk?
Oh, boy.
And this is not a bit. This is not a joke. And I was like, we were not going to see that one just yet.
We're going to do like 8 Green Hulks before he gets red.
But they think Red Hulk is the fireworks factory.
They were ready for Red Hulk. And so I was like, guys, we can't. And I've been watching everyone with them. And I came home one day, I had done a show, and they come home and they're like, we watch Red Hulk. And I was like, at first it was the only one they watched without me.
Yeah.
And I had already seen it. And I was like, what did you think? And it was funny because it's the first time they were disappointed about, like, and it was.
They've learned that movies could be
I remember
bad.
when you're 10 or 11, you're like, it wasn't quite the 5-star experience every film in my life has been.
This is the first bad movie I've ever seen.
I did detect slight cracks.
Right.
It's like the foundation.
Are movies allowed to be bad?
It's a funny moment that you have when you realize that there's and they come to me all the time. They go like, can we watch it? I go, no. Well, why not? I don't think you'll like it. And it's like, well, is it too adult? I'm like, it's not too adult. It's just not
Kinda
good.
shitty. Yeah.
And it's hard to like explain why, but when they see it, they're like, all right.
Because you're like, yeah, I don't know, Captain America fights Red Hulk in it. Like, and you're like, well, that sounds good. And you're like, yeah, it does sound good.
You're describing the best movie I could ever imagine.
Red Hulk. Salute.
I was going to say, you may remember I gave Tim Blake Nelson my Best Supporting Actor award in our Blankies episode this year for this movie.
For Buster Scruggs.
And I
loved him in
this
movie
segment
so much.
is so my sensibility. It is. I did see this in the very brief theatrical release.
Oh, cool.
I saw it was screened for me, I think. I can't remember.
Some of the biggest laughs I've ever had in a theater come from this segment, which is just so
funny.
My fucking bullseye.
It's so you.
And
It's so
me.
Yeah.
It's so
but
cartoons.
his performance.
It's him, it's his performance, it's the song, all the physicality of the tables, and then you've got Clancy
coming
Brown.
off of him in the perfect silhouette.
That is the most cartoon thing of all time.
The tone of the movie is established when, during this segment, in the very beginning, as he's riding the horse and playing guitar, there's a shot from inside the guitar out.
Yeah.
You are looking at from inside the guitar out through the strings. The sound is muffled, and I'm like, oh, this is what they're doing.
They're having fun.
This is fun and silly.
And I think the thing, and when I watched it again, and I hadn't watched it in a long time, I was like, oh, but this character comes back. This is like
he's also the titular.
Right. You're right.
And he
does seem otherworldly, obviously, and you're like, maybe he finds a way to.
Or do you go backwards and you see him before, or do you does every character have an interaction with this guy? Because it's almost that's a movie too, right? But no, and I think that's why I also feel what you're saying. Like, I want more of it. Like, I think the movie might even feel better if there was a little bit, like, maybe if those characters come into that town where he gets killed. I mean, that doesn't quite work.
It is the magic, though, where like every other segment is a complete thought that ends at the exact point it has to end to, because there is so much a punchline, and even the segments that are more dramatic do kind of have an inherent sketch comedy game within them. Right? It's all about building this up and knocking it down and getting to that surprising, like, but inevitable conclusion. And his is the one where you're like, you could do 7 more sketches with this guy.
Yes,
that would all be satisfying.
But also, Mortal Remains, right, has Saul Rubinek, the great Saul Rubinek, playing a Frenchman, and then Krumholtz is in the Ballad of Buster Scruggs is a Frenchman.
This is their second crummiest film, I would say.
It is. I think Hail Caesar's still their.
That's their crummiest.
And I had that. I heard the brief, like, when I was rewatching, I was like, does Krumholtz come back? Because when I saw him, I was like,
it's a similar look.
Like, then I started thinking, like, what if Mortal Remains, like, it's like there was a character in each of them and they're all in the carriage? That's fun. And then I watched it and I was like, right, but that's not what it is at all.
Wouldn't that be cool?
Wouldn't that be cool? But the Coens also are, I think when you say to them, wouldn't that be cool? They're like, oh, I don't know, maybe we did something else.
And I think that the movies that we have watched that are similar, and I'm gonna, this is a very big thing I'm painting here, but like a Kentucky Fried Movie, or like Amazon Women on the Moon, which I was able to buy in the UK.
Congratulations.
Yeah, and
Blu-ray or DVD?
Blu-ray.
Wow.
But like the format of these styles, the style of film where it's shorts, there always is a little bit of a through line, a little bit, like,
right?
And this
what's
is
making this all hang together,
and
Absolutely.
This is just
the milieu,
the West,
the
West frontier, the themes of going West and a new start or whatever,
And even though the book is the book the Ballad of
the book? It's based on 2 different stories.
Well, you're saying the physical book in the
book,
yeah. 2 of the 6 stories are adaptations.
Yes.
4 of them are original.
Stories. Yes. Yeah. And you know what? I should open the dossier because I actually think there are lots of questions.
Crack it.
Yeah. I don't know the total.
David, I'm begging you to get to the dossier. David,
it's an hour and 12
minutes.
David,
JJ worked on
getting the podcast in motion.
The Coens, of course, had made short films before a little bit. Joel made a short film called Soundings in NYU Film School. Mm-hmm. Obviously, they did the Tuileries section of Paris Jetem, which is very charming and funny.
The Buscemi segment, to each his own cinema.
And then they did the World Cinema segment, and to each his own cinema with Brolin, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Tell me like the Nuri Bilge Ceylan. That's his bit at the end of the movie.
Oh, yeah, right.
It's Cowboy wanders into an art house theater, and he really likes Climates, the Nuri Bilge Ceylan movie. And he like tips his cowboy hat and goes, tell him I liked it.
I've seen this.
It's really great.
Yeah.
It's really
Trisha Cook co-directed a short called Don't Mess with Texas, where Ethan was someone of... But anyway, in the early 2000s, the Coens start writing something called The Ballad of Buster Scruggs, but they don't intend it maybe right away to be a short, but they realize, like, yeah, this is like an interesting lark. Maybe it could begin to be a collection.
They tell Tim Blake, like, we're writing this for you. This is this fun idea we're toying around with. You put a movie cowboy in a kind of more real, dangerous Western milieu.
Is there anybody who, and I mean, I think he has said this outright, Is there anybody who has had their career just astronomically catapulted forward than the Coens and Tim Blake Nelson?
It is so interesting that they look at him and they're like, we know what to do with you. And that's all
everything.
he needed.
Exactly. It's all of it. It's from Oh Brother to this guy to like, it's so varied.
I mean, here are the things that are craziest. One, that they actually don't work together at all between Oh Brother and this.
Right.
And in your mind, you're like, he became a staple.
Yeah, in your mind, you're like, he's Stephen Root. He's in 6 of these things.
But the thing about him too is I think he also is exploding in a lot of movies that are odd, that for the eye test for most people are like, oh, that was a Coen Brothers. No, it wasn't, but it feels like he's in those.
Or he gave a performance in a movie that felt like it could have been a Coen performance in a more straight film or whatever it is.
Yeah, like he's doing a lot of that weird, not weird work, but just a lot of that you just associate him with that.
But also to be a guy who, I'm sorry, David, went to Juilliard, is classically trained.
We've talked about Tim, I guess just in the Oh Brother.
But then like, was like doing character actor stuff, doing comedy stuff, and was sort of like, I think I'm more of a writer and director. That's my main focus. I become friends with Joel Coen through that. Then he offers me this part. I'm like, I don't really act that much anymore. This is the third lead of the movie. Should I do this? He does it. He never stops working.
Right.
It's not even he has had peaks and valleys.
No, he's got
from
a face.
Oh Brother on. Yeah. Everyone is like, we know to cast this guy forever. Okay. He will be in 6 things a year.
So back to the dossier, because we can talk about that.
So they've done short films.
Well, they've done short films. They write Buster Scruggs. They start to just write other stuff. It all goes in a drawer. At one point, HBO, who's the only other possible contender for, I think, making something like this, is like, we do an anthology. Like, that makes some sense. They sort of talk about it. It never goes anywhere. And Ethan says basically at some point they were like, we just need to write like one more and it'll be a feature, right? Like they had maybe 4 or 5. They were like, let's just do it. When
you say Buster Scruggs, were they writing Buster?
First, they do Buster Scruggs. The first,
but I mean, but always as a story, not as like we're gonna write a Buster Scruggs feature.
Exactly. I think they realized like, no, it's a little trifle, and they just keep adding trifles to their drawer.
They tell him about it in like the early 2000s, and then they're like, we don't really know what to do with this. And we have this thing we wrote for you. We don't really know where this would fit into.
They love Westerns.
Yeah.
And so they're kind of, as they put it, rummaging around in the Western genre where they're like, well, we never did a stagecoach movie. We never did a wagon train movie. Like these are all, right. Buster Scruggs is like, it's about, dueling, right? Like, the gold miner thing, the stagecoach thing, it all makes sense. It's like these are things Westerns would subgenres of the golden age.
They have ostensibly done 2 feature-length Westerns at this point, yet both of them are unconventional in their own ways, that there are a lot of hallmarks they have not hit at all.
They write The Mortal Remains, the final piece, as a way of unifying. When they look at all their stories, they're like, what is the common theme? And they are like, the common theme of this is death.
Death comes for us all.
Exactly. Like, and it's like, it may be out of the ordinary, or it might just kind of be like, what can you do? Like, you're going to, but like, that is right. That is the common theme. So they write that.
You could also zoom out and argue that is the common theme of their body of work.
Well,
that's the common theme of much art, obviously.
Well, that's what I was going to say, that the first and last chapter to me represent the full scope of their career, which is like death, but
cartoon silliness, and then like poetic sort of seriousness.
Yes, and sort of like the brutality and beauty, and it's really I mean, I think this movie does capture a lot of what they do in very short segments.
I think right. The primary concern of like their careers and their body of work is this is the only guarantee. And what do you do with that knowledge, right?
Yes.
That most of their stories are animated by how do people process the fact that is the inevitable end goal. How do people, what are they willing to do in order to protect their lives? The cruelty of taking away other people's lives, like all of this, the negotiation.
I really wish, like, I also feel like there's no, like, their movies are more, not more modern, but I feel like there's less lying here. Like, people are much more bald here. I feel like it's in this film. Yeah. And I feel like they kind of...
Man, you're obsessed with bald in movies.
I mean, I think it's great. And you're talking about Greek actors, talking about bald actors.
Telly Savalas.
But I do think
Loves you, baby.
I love it.
Greek.
Greek as hell. Greek as hell.
We left him off the list.
Well, he is dead.
That's not...
Well, you can't
I'm just saying. I mean, he can't ship off to the Odyssey.
I believe
tomorrow.
He was Jennifer Aniston's godfather.
He was?
Is that right? Is that
What?
right?
Sloppy Telly, that's
John
true.
Aniston is the
I
dad.
do have his vinyl. His vinyl is great. His singing vinyl is...
Oh, wow.
Oh, yeah? I can imagine that guy had some pipes.
He does a little William Shatner-esque. But I feel like what's fun about this is like these people are who they say they are and what they like. No one's like hiding that much. And I feel like a lot of Coen Brothers movies is about manipulation or covering.
But I also think that's like a principle of the dramatic idea of the Western, right? It is why it is a genre that people are still so obsessed with, is it's this notion of like white hats and black hats and men meeting in a town square and looking each other in the eye and saying the thing and these moral lines, you know, this sort of like this midpoint culturally between like we built just enough of a society that we're starting to establish rules and structures and idea of how a town works and what jobs are, you know, and dressing it up, and yet things are settled by guys shooting each other in the head.
Right.
You know,
yeah.
that it's this like exact midpoint in like the human evolution.
Right. So Westerns
getting
are about.
away from
It's like,
barbarianism.
to what extent has civilization arrived?
And then what civilization,
like, sort of.
And what they take, and then where it manipulates to is people are like, oh, I can circumvent the civilization. I can manipulate it. I can get money from it. You know,
like what I feel like is part of it is, and Zoe Kazan has that line when her brother has died and they say, do you want to go back or do you want to move forward? And she said, there is no back. There is only moving forward. And that's everybody in this movie, everybody in life is marching forward towards certain death. It's just happening so much sooner in this movie because circumstances are brutal.
And these things have to be 15 minutes long as well.
They basically, all of them average between 15 and 20, other than the Kazan, which is about 35.
Right. The Rattled is the sort of centerpiece,
and that,
even though it's later.
And that's why I feel like that, why I don't like it as much as the others, is because I think it does break the structure too late in the film, because it's right at the, it's like,
that is the exact thing I like about
really?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can see Griffin's side of it. I agree with you, Paul, that am kind of like, this is like a few too many beats, and I've been with this movie for a while, and you know, I don't know. I
want to know why you guys like it eventually. Yeah.
Okay. Then they take this project once they're sort of like, okay, like we've put this all together, to Annapurna, as we said. Annapurna sells it to Netflix pretty quickly, according to the Coens, and it is a mistake of trade reporting that it's reported as a series, and I think it's partly that it was still so new, for like these movies to be on Netflix. And it's announced as this anthology of stories that I think, you know, Variety at all are just kind of like, oh, is it like a television miniseries? Like, because that's so hot right now.
No filmmaker would be going with a film to Netflix at this point. You know,
and,
or
well, also part of
I mean, kind
we've got House of Cards, we've got Fincher,
right? But no filmmaker would come with like a film. Like
I see what you're saying.
It felt like Netflix was doing something similar to Annapurna, which was, what's the thing you can't get made anywhere else? And when Netflix made them, a lot of times you were like, oh, there's a reason no one else made this. The script had problems. Things like 100%. Duncan Jones's Mute, right? Where you were like, oh, these development hell movies are now going to Netflix as a salvation, versus the ones that were good but were challenging. It felt like Annapurna was financing and then getting theatrical distribution for it.
Right.
And
Annapurna was more doing the Scott Rudin thing of like, what's the thing you've been trying to make? Right. We can figure out how to make it for you.
If cinema for adults has kind of died, then we'll put up the money for it.
But it's kind of also like movies that can't have good trailers, right? You can't sell.
Right. Movies that would struggle with an opening weekend expectation or whatever.
Right. So here you just slap it in Netflix, you open up your app and then you're like, it's there. I'm watching it.
But they're absolutely kind of riding high for going to Netflix at this point. A lot of the people who are going to Netflix are like coming off of a shaky period. I guess Irishman's the year after this, which is another big turning point of like, oh, fuck, here's this movie that the studios were too scared to make.
Right.
And they're rolling out the carpet for Scorsese.
And Irishman, the thing about Irishman and Flower Moon is like they are very long.
And very expensive.
And they were expensive to make. They probably still would have made decent amounts of money. But they're long and expensive.
I don't think amount in theaters.
I think I would have loved to have seen the Coens do Flower Moon. That story is a Coen, like that to me is like
Coen-y.
And it drives me, and I love Scorsese, obviously, but that I would love to have seen the humor in that more, because that's a movie where you're talking about a lot of this kind of just manipulation, fun.
For sure. There's a way to make it more. This is a quote from Joel. I like this about television. Thing about TV series I don't understand, I think it's hard for both of us to get our minds around, is feature films have a beginning, a middle, and an end. Open-ended stories have a beginning and middle, and then they're beaten to death until they are exhausted and they die. I do think that's a funny way to talk about really successful television, because like only a couple shows truly got to end on their own terms. Well, usually if you're successful, it's like, yay, our show rocks.
You're
and
a
eventually
victim
it's like,
of your own success.
We're still going. And it's like, no, like, you're done.
Except for the UK model, which was, was like,
No, but you're right. Most often shows end.
Taskmaster will never end.
Most often shows end unresolved because they didn't get where they wanted to and they were taken away too soon, or they're victims of their own success that are stretched out far past the natural ending point of the story.
The Coens also say, they are literal about this. They're like, no studio would have financed this film. Like with the one, like where it's like, hey, why'd you go to streaming? And they're like, why do you think? Nobody's going to make this movie. This is not a commercial movie. And it's an expensive movie. And we see how the industry is changing and they only want to make franchise movies. And like,
they're expensive because it's period.
Yeah, I think this movie was like a huge pain in the ass to make because this is the one where Ethan's like, I am really exhausted.
It
like,
is the reason, yes, the split up in quotes between the two of them is at the end of this, Ethan's like, I'm so fucking wiped out. I don't want to make another movie. And Joel goes, I guess if you don't want to do it, can I do stuff solo?
Oh, okay.
And then Ethan ends up getting this second win and deciding that he wants to make very, very serious, complicated lesbian genre.
Society. Right. For society
but he, when it was sort of talked about and people were like, are they talking around a blow up that happened between the two of them? Was there a falling out? Is there an illness? Is it an industry thing? Whatever it was, the line was always Ethan saying, we made too many Westerns in a row. That No Country was tough. Some films in between. True Grit was really tough.
Right.
Some films. And then this, he basically was like, it was an idiotic ambition on our part. It felt like making 6 complete movies. Even though they were short, it felt like 6 separate productions in a row.
The scope of them is massive.
Right. They don't feel small.
Not at all.
I mean, maybe in cast, but that's about it.
Almost all exteriors.
Right.
He was like, it was just months on uncovered sets. Every couple of weeks, it would basically reset with a new cast. We'd have to rethink visually the new story.
So many of these people are old, like Tom Waits. I was watching Tom Waits.
Did he look old to you?
Do so much
God
in
bless
this.
him.
I was like, wow, he must have been exhausted.
No, and I think Ethan even said, like, that much time outdoors, uncovered sets, it wouldn't have been a problem when we were young.
Yeah.
But we got ourselves out there, and even just being like 5 years older than they were when they made True Grit, or more, 7, and that's already a couple years past. They were like the additional 10 years between when we started making Westerns and this one. We were just like, I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Tim Blake Nelson, as you say, had been shown this script all the way back when, and then apparently just once in a while, and he was excited about it.
Yeah.
And then once in a while, Joe will be like, hey, by the way, one day we're going to do that. So
doing something.
Get ready.
Yeah.
And then they're like, we're going to do it. So can you do pistol tricks and can you play guitar and can you sing? And also, can you learn all this dialogue?
You have
and Tim
6
was
months
like,
starting now.
Right. Tim was like, what? And then he had to like learn guitar specifically to be in this movie.
His son is like a very
voice.
good musician.
Oh, wow.
He has a beautiful singing voice, and he learned, like, singing was part of his training at Juilliard. But he credits his son. He has a really good WTF episode.
Oh, okay.
Where he credits his son, where he was just like this incredible bonding exercise of me being able to go to my son, who was a guitar prodigy, and be like, I'm hiring you to spend the next 6 months to teach me how to do all of this. And they got very close doing it.
Can I give you Zoe Kazan's incredible take on this movie? And she obviously, I mean, like with all these actors, it's like, hey, why'd you do it? She's like, I don't know, it's a Coen Brothers movie. Like, what am I going to not do it? She says she thinks the whole thing is all bound together in a really clever way. Each chapter prepares you for the next. The first one is like, it's going to be a good time. People will die, but it's going to be fun. By the third one, that expectation has been reversed. It's like amusement comes with a price. Entertainment is not easy. And like, you've watched the deaths of all these protagonists, right? Tom Waits reverses the pattern a bit. There's hope. And then Gal Who Gets Rattled is the opposite, where you're like, you're in it, you're invested the most. It has the most crushing ending. And then the final one is just this dream logic of like, this museum of death.
What comes
basically.
next?
Exactly.
We'll get into it more, but that's
I love that quote. That's actually.
She's fucking smart. God bless her,
Everyone who has worked with her says that as well.
Yeah, and I think that
she and I worked together on the Nia Vardalos movie, I Hate Valentine's Day.
Jason, you're in that?
Greek.
Don't you worry, I am.
Do you go on a date with her?
I'm so worried.
I'm freaking out. Do you go on a date with her? And she's like, I hate Valentine's Day.
No. Nia Vardalos is falling in love with John Corbett once again.
Yes.
One of their 4 movies together.
Yes. She has a kind of regular lunch group of friends
you're
who
one of
she
the
kind
buds.
of downloads with, and it's me,
Kelly
Zoe,
Savalas,
Dratch, and Judah
Olivia
Friedlander.
Dukakis.
Guys who
That's
are all the same age.
Yes. Crazy.
The Wrecking Crew.
Yeah, the Wrecking Crew, aka the Wrecking Crew.
Yeah.
That movie is not perfect.
It is wow.
David, wait a second. You better be ready to back up.
It is very gracious of you, David.
Yeah.
It is not perfect,
Okay.
but I had
Good
the
time
most
making it.
wonderful time making it.
It sounds like a
Everybody
good crew.
was dynamite. And it was maybe one of the very first movies I was ever in a meaningful
I
way,
was
like
gonna
multiple
say,
scenes.
That's a long time ago.
you
that
know?
film.
Oh yeah.
I will also say that when you just said something about not about Valentine's Day, but the dossier coming up and saying like that she read all the pieces, which
Yes.
again, these are 2 things that surprised me. A, that Netflix didn't approach them, and then B, that they're giving the full script out to everyone
So,
because
like,
it feels to
right.
me, it's like, oh, here's the piece we want you to do. Don't worry about the rest. It's
Part
not
of
important.
The weird misreporting about this film and the assumption that it was a TV show was also that, like, in some of the trade announcements, they said that it was a project under Annapurna's new television division.
Okay.
And also because Netflix is
Oh,
doing
sure.
so much
it's all
playing with
chicanery,
format stuff.
right.
I have heard conspiracy theories in the past that there was a little bit of deliberate trickery in knowing that Netflix would be more willing to sign off on this, even though their intention was always to make it a movie. That is pure conjecture. But they have been very upfront. Everyone who works on this movie is very upfront that it was like, the script is a finished thing. It is in this order, and everyone reads it from beginning to end.
And this is, when I talked to Quentin Tarantino, he talked publicly on the radio. So I'm not radio, but on the podcast. He was saying that they kind of tricked Harvey into Kill Bill, to kind of maneuver how they wanted it to be released too. So I think that that's just part of good producing.
It's good that someone was able to trick Harvey after
Yeah.
Harvey tricked so many people.
Yeah, 100%.
But
I do.
What's up with him?
You're saying mostly
Haven't
just,
heard from him in a minute.
you're saying mostly just the editing room, right?
Yeah,
His notorious editing room battle.
But I do feel like that, I think that that's all fair play because it's sort of like, just get it made. Go get the thing. Because it doesn't make a difference for Netflix. Ultimately, I don't think.
No, and they've been very clear that it was like, this is always what we wanted it to be, and that's what it was.
Right.
And whether it was just misreporting because they tend to keep the lid on very tight while they're working on stuff. So there's a lot of speculation that leads to like theorizing getting printed as fact, or if that was part of their kind of clever.
Well, you blew my mind when you just said that he wasn't sick for the breakup. I thought whatever I read was that he was sick, and then that was.
No, he was like, I'm really fucking tired, and I like need time to recharge, and maybe I'll come back to it later.
I get it.
Yeah.
It was a pain to make. They shot it in Nebraska, Colorado, New Mexico, almost all on location except for the final segment, which was shot on a stage. Obviously, it's mostly in its carriage.
Well, that also
pain in the ass.
the first sequence is in the very famous. I've shot there multiple times. The famous Old West town that's standing in right outside of Los Angeles, and that you would see Deadwood and everything in. It's
Is it in that segment where they refer to Valverde in this movie, which is
Do they really?
Yeah, which is the famous kind of shared fake.
They're like fake
South
American country that like
it's in Commando.
Predator,
what's the guy, the writer who wrote all those movies?
Stephen D'Souza.
Thank you. It's D'Souza. Yes.
It's a D'Souza ref. No,
It
I don't
is.
actually know. If
Yeah, but Valverde is invoked at some point in this film. There is this like owning of the kind of like collective monomyth of the American West via movies, right?
Well, also, not for nothing, the fact that in that opening segment, Tim Blake Nelson is killed by Seth Bullock, Tim Oliphant.
Right.
Putting a Deadwood actor in there, there's something really wonderful about that.
I also thought that opening sequence is movie Old West. He's in the white cowboy outfit. It's like it's very everything else is much more grounded in a more realistic way.
Oh yeah, the juxtaposition of him and Clancy Brown is incredible.
Well, it's also like he's like a 40s movie cowboy, and he is killed by like a 60s movie cowboy. Both of them are fictionalized, heightened, stylized version of phony cowboys existing in a milieu of like these are what the actual guys were like.
Right.
This is basically the Coens playing with toys.
Yeah,
this first one, absolutely,
yeah.
and
I mean,
like the
you're
joke,
kind of identifying why I love this so much.
Yes.
Yeah,
but like the joke of like, okay, or the puzzle of like, you're in the saloon, you're not allowed a weapon. How do you kill somebody? Like it's
what
fun.
if Seth Bullock, but also Roy Rogers?
But it's also right what Griffin is saying of kind of like, now your time has come, Buster. Like you're gonna get knocked off the board because like
right, the Western isn't gone, but the type of
the trick shots, the cheerful singing, and all that.
This
it's
is
like
officially uncool.
It happens before. But I loved the sequence where he kills Surly Joe. He's singing the Surly Joe song and dancing, and everyone's getting on board for it. But they keep cutting back to Surly Joe's brother coming in and finding
Robinson sketch.
Surly Joe dead. Real Who did this? He's dead. That sequence is so funny.
Every single line of dialogue he has is funny to me. It is funny in the way it's written. You can just imagine the Coens giggling to themselves about like, imagine Tim saying this. There are moments of like pure like elation that I have in this segment. I mean, his killing of Clancy Brown is truly... I know I've been using a lot of hyperbole across the series because I love the Coens so much. That is amongst the hardest I've ever laughed in a theater.
It's so good.
Yes. I lost my fucking mind.
It's so funny.
I saw this at the IFC with our friend JD Amato in like one of the 5 basically unadvertised days it was playing. And there was almost no one else in the theater outside of a recently canceled Louis C.K.
Oh, wow.
It was like a very odd experience where we walk in, we're like, that's him, right?
Was
and then
he
we're
laughing at anything?
He laughed a lot.
Okay,
yeah.
He liked it a lot.
Because it would be funny.
You're talking about the author, right?
The novelist.
Yeah.
It would be funny if
he works in a Western military as well.
Kicked the board and made him shoot himself once, but then he does it then 6 times or whatever.
One time is funny.
Like
yes,
100%.
6 times is the funniest thing I've ever seen.
I feel like the image I see when I look at him in this is Bugs Bunny with the guns on his holster.
Yes.
That is like, I feel this image. It's like everything. If you told me this was literally shot for shot a Warner Brothers Looney Tunes cartoon, I'd be
100%.
And I even think the dust silhouette and all these things of like establishing cartoon logic, the way at the end when he dies, he becomes an angel with little wings and a harp.
Yeah.
That's straight Looney Tunes.
Oscar nominated song. He sings an Oscar
Yes.
song when
Did
a
he
cowboy
perform
trades his spurs for wings. Well, he performs it in the movie. I can't remember
if he performed it.
I think Gillian Welch did it on stage.
And it's mostly the other guys singing it, but I believe Gillian Welch did it.
David Rawlings.
David Rawlings is the
Hey,
other. Wow.
there we go.
All right.
Do you guys know?
I've got those albums. Don't worry about it.
I was going to say, it's like Jason does not have like a laptop open.
Short side tangent that will be worth it.
Please.
I promise you.
It's fine.
We already introduced the show. Now we're in.
Yeah.
The show has
We're doing
started.
great. We're actually ahead of schedule.
It's so funny. David has genuinely calmed down.
Yeah.
The tension was just for the words that begin the show.
A little bit.
We're doing great,
I
David.
love it.
We
I
only
love
have
it.
5 more segments to talk about. So here's
what
my
I'll say,
side tangent.
David, as a parent, I feel that pressure. I feel it. I've recorded episodes where I've come down and my wife is like, what possibly could you be doing?
Like the idea of coming down and being like, oh, but we had 18 more minutes on fucking
we had to talk
Predator
about the
2.
Squad, and we're not resolved on the
Griff
Geek
and
Squad,
I are like, let's go, childless
Rapscallion
men.
Bachelors.
We have nothing to
I mean,
do.
I'm in New York. I don't have my family. I'm very happily can say as long as I like.
Yeah.
We do have a show tonight.
Oh, well, that was.
And
I'm coming to the show.
Oh, really? Oh my gosh! Well,
And it is
we'll talk
in
about
Manhattan, right? It's right.
And the great New York City.
The Great Town Hall.
Yes.
Love
George Lucas Talk Show.
Yes.
When we were doing so much of it during the pandemic over live streams, Connor, as he is wont to do, got very into the idea of producing an original soundtrack album on vinyl.
I remember,
because there'd been enough songs that we like improvised or musical performances.
Talk show.
Yes, so there were like a couple original songs, but there were times where we ended up doing improvised like covers of other songs. And Connor, as is his wont, was like, "I'm gonna produce like 300 of these or whatever, but I want to legally clear every single second of it." And he spent like a year going through and clearing every kind of musical thing and any artist we had on the show who had representation from someone else, making sure like no one's going to make money off this, but I want this to all be above board, right? And one of the things was we had someone perform one of the songs from the Star Wars Holiday Special. And there's so much mystery around the Star Wars Holiday Special because everyone ran for the hills and tried to, eschew credit for that. And he was like, we got to figure out who wrote this song. I think it was the B. Arthur song. And Connor did months of digging and found out that it was written by 2 kind of like go-to 50s, 60s variety show comedy legends who did most of the original songs for the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, cool.
Who died decades ago. and that Disney has never bothered to copyright the holiday special songs because Lucas disowned it.
Right.
Fox never did it. Lucasfilm never did it. Disney didn't do it now. It's like just out there. No one has the rights. And he was like, who is the next of kin for these old Borscht Belde comedy writers? And it was Gillian Welch. Her parents wrote the songs for the Star Wars holiday special. And Connor got connected with her and he was like, weirdest phone call you're ever going to receive in your life. You actually own 5 Star Wars songs.
Wow.
So did she have any knowledge of that?
No. So like she made a deal with him for nothing, right? But she was like, thanks for letting me know I like have IP over Disney.
That is wild. And I feel like that, that special is amazing. I got to do a documentary about it where I got to read the outline that was given, and it is one of the best pieces of it's great. I mean, everything about that and how weird it was, I feel like it needs to be released like in its remastered.
I think George and Harrison may have to depart this mortal coil for like it to actually be like.
Well, did you hear though that they're
remastering the original?
Yeah.
I mean, I live in hope.
The story had always been.
I live in a new hope.
Exactly.
The stories had always been that contractually, when George sold Lucasfilm to Disney, one of his baked-in conditions was you cannot release the original theatricals. That even upon leaving, he was like, you can't do it without me.
Right.
So something has
changed. Either they convinced him or he, in
a fascinating way.
It expired or
and
something.
Do you know that like right now, as we record in the Disney parks, they have Chewbacca, the walk around Chewbacca with the red robe and the Life Day orb.
Oh, wow.
Like they will not let the holiday special out legally, but there's like merchandise of
references
it. And there's references to it.
Well, but because now what they've done is Lego did I worked with Disney and a very high up executive at Lucasfilm. I had done a special for Marvel where I did a documentary about this failed comic book called Brute Force. And we went back and got to do some stuff and Kevin Feige allowed us a little bit of leeway until there was none. And then but then they were like, can you do this for the special? So we can maybe re-air the special but that died a much quicker death.
Yeah.
Someone catches wind and is like, no, right, squish.
Yeah. I love everything about the segment. The moment for me that is like I enter a state of nirvana is when in the sort of standoff, he turns to the camera. It is not the first time he has spoken to the camera.
About the mirror, or he's like, and I'm up and I'm backwards and I'm looking at him.
It's before that. Okay, it's the moment that introduces that. Because at the beginning, of course, he's on the horse, he's singing, he's talking to the camera, he's acknowledging it, right? But then he's sort of been in his world, entering these tough bars. Everyone's laughing at him, being like, what the fuck is up with this guy? And then he reasserts his dominance, right? And this whole like Coen thing of this tension between this guy who seems like an idiot goofball also being capable of like intense, horrific violence, right? The sort of like subtext under the movie-fied, cleaned up version of an American myth. And he stayed in that reality for like 10 continuous minutes, I feel like. And then he's in the shoot off. He's done the 5 fingers, right? He like in this fucking shootout decides to shoot all 5 of the guy's fingers off so that he can't fire the gun. And he's like trying to figure out if he can do it with his left dominant hand, right? And Tim Blake Nelson turns back to the camera that's behind him and goes, I ain't got but the one bullet left. And it's with this like Bugs Bunny, ain't I a stinker? Well, like he's thrilled at the challenge.
Well, what's so fun about this whole segment is it starts off so big in scale and scope, and it just gets closer and closer and closer in, so that at a certain point, especially once he's talking to us, it is conspiratorial. Tim Blake Nelson is including us in his mischief, and he's letting us in on what's going on in a way that I was like, oh, I love it. And that there are no more narrators, that there are no more talking to us. That goes away once he dies.
And what's happening here goes beyond self-defense, right? What you need to do to survive in the West, because even like the Clancy Brown thing is like the rules of poker, that's a dead man's hand. You have to respect that. If he doesn't
and when he goes, I would appreciate it if you would go and turn your firearm into the closet over there or whatever, the gun check. It was so funny. He's just so unfazed by everything.
But at this point, it's like, okay, there's a shootout. There is self-defense. He needs to shoot first. He's actually just torturing this man.
Well, but
to not just shoot him in the head, but to shoot his fingers off one by one.
It's not just a white hat 40s thing. It's violent. It's cruel. There's a weird dissonance to that I love.
And then, as you say, at that moment, after he shot all 5 fingers off, turns to the audience and is like, "We're having fun here, right?"
And we are. But this is also we talked about Looney Tunes, but that's also Three Stooges, which I think is very much them too. Like Three Stooges is violent.
It's quite brutal,
right? Yes. And if you were to look at it, it's like you can see it one way and you can see it another way. And I think that, like, to your point, Jason, when he's like, "My brother," like that, it's like, that's this weird line that the whole movie walks, where it's like, it is real, but we also have him going up with a little angel wings and a harp, and it's like, and that to me, that's what I love about this. I would say it's probably the best piece of the entire film, because I think it is the most, the most thought out, the most beautifully done.
And this beautiful moment of like, I got the one bullet, turns around, fucking vanity mirror, silver plated, right? Figuring out the angles of where to shoot. Then he calls out like, "It's risky. I shouldn't get too fancy with it." As if he isn't already doing this trick shot. Then murders this man in cold blood, and then gets challenged to a new duel by this like new Hollywood Western cowboy, right? And this guy is obeying the same rules. The reason why he's able to shoot Buster Scruggs down is because he doesn't do the fucking preamble.
Right. He's not talking to the camera. He's not playing to the thing. Because Buster Scruggs is actually playing to the audience, right? Because he's like, yeah, we could do the count. Like it's almost like someone's calling him off stage. And
the moment where he uses the same mirror to look at the bullet hole in his own head is wonderful.
And the reveal
and
of
the framing of that.
Yeah. And even when this cowboy's walking away and singing this Oscar-nominated song, he's not doing it down the barrel of the lens. He's singing, but it's like we shift to like a cat baloo.
We have to move on, though. We do have to move on. We have 5 more segments to do.
Segment 2.
You're algodonias? Anyone help me? No. Okay. Now, this is the simplest one joke like premise, right? Right. It's sort of all building to punchline. I do really like it. This is the most like it feels like a cute little short story.
This is the slightest.
Wait, which one is it? Tell me.
This is the James Franco.
This is Franco.
Stephen Root.
I think Franco
Galactus
is incredibly well cast in this.
Galactus is in this.
Galactus is in it.
Yeah.
He's there. He's there.
Me of my cosmic burden.
I hunger.
I don't know what you
but
guys.
Kang is there too, right?
Kang is there. A couple Kangs. There are a couple Kangs.
They're all Kangs. I mean, this is the cool thing about this.
Yes.
Everybody in this is a Kang.
Yes, I loved when the Time Variance Authority showed up.
I love Mr. Timely. When's he coming back?
So many things in whatever phase 4, 5, whatever
6?
that was, 5, 6, where they were like, this makes sense. There's a lot to draft off here. Where I'm like, you guys have nothing.
Nothing.
Sorry.
Nothing. In my memory, this was like the first major post like Me Too Time's Up Franco thing, which gives it an interesting air because you're like, here he is not charming at
being
all.
An outlaw,
right?
He's well
really
cast.
Good
He's really
and
good.
It's all about like this guy just barely escaping culpability for his actions.
It's kind of the last thing he's done that
mostly disappears after this,
right? That anyone really watched. Right?
I was wondering if this was shot before.
I think it was shot before, but came out quite a bit after because of their post-production.
But it's similar to The Deuce, where it's like The Deuce wrapped up in 2019 or whatever, which is the other sort of last thing he did of note.
But this is his last major credit for a good chunk of time.
He's such a good comparison to Root in total like gonzo mode.
Oh my God.
Stephen Root in like silliest Bugman mode.
Yeah. I mean, incredible.
And like, I mean, the thing about this one is, apart from the gag of first time, which is hilarious, right? Which like hit for me so hard and I laughed when I saw it, is that in this one, we're really, for the first time, seeing like Native Americans, the Comanches, as like classic Hollywood villains, where they are just like violent and scary and have no character.
Right.
The movie does this twice because Rattles
like a
has
murder
it as
gang,
well. Right.
Basically.
And I think it put people off because it's like, you don't see this in revisionist Westerns basically ever. Like this kind of like classic cartoony cowboys and Indian kind of villain thing. And I feel like the Coens would just be like, yeah, well, this is the milieu we're playing.
It's riffing on the history of these types of
but
stories.
It is quite shocking.
I love the moment in it when when they're attacking and Franco's got the noose around, and there's one of the guys who's trying to hang him. First gets an arrow in the throat.
Yes.
Pulls it out only to
It's
get
still
a
going,
second arrow in the throat. I was like, these are the jokes. This is so good.
Yes.
But then it's such a funny sequence. And then the Indians leave and everybody else is dead. And it's just Franco on his horse. The tension between the horse's appetite forcing it further and further, tightening the noose tighter and tighter. That tension is great.
I love that. It's such a great moment because you have this great action scene, and it is this like, it gives it so much more weight because any moment he could also be, his neck could be snapped and it's done. And it's like, it's so great. But then that right next to like moments before Stephen Root coming out in pots and pans,
the silliest getup, right,
and it's amazing.
The
and
most
his underwear.
comical villain. Right,
he's also put it. He's stripped down
with a catchphrase.
Yes,
pan shot,
shot.
You know, like,
and the glee with which he's screaming pan shot is so funny.
Well, what's skillful about this too is it's all wind up to one punchline, right? It is the like tremendous Coens comic irony of a guy being able to be hung for the second time, right? To be the kind of like old sage, I've been through this before.
Well, he's died, right? He's kind of a ghost. And so he's like, when he's not scared to die the second time.
See, I think it's the opposite thing. My read is this guy thinks that he can't be killed.
Oh, that's a fair read.
Right? I think so. I think it's that too.
I think his first time energy.
The smile. Yes, I think that's.
I've been here before.
Right,
this
it
can't
will work
keep me
out.
down.
Something will work out.
Right.
Like, I do think though, it is a one joke thing, but I also think the first joke is one of the funniest. A bank in the middle of nowhere. It is. There's no town. There's no anything, and it's like that image. Is.
You're right.
Great.
You're right. You don't even think about it like the absurdity of this.
That is such a funny fucking thing. And then it just goes and heightens.
Someone making it all the way out there and being like, what this place needs is a bank.
And going back to this awkward notion of like these developing proper society of America, right? This is how things should be, and yet it isn't quite right yet.
Yes. No, it's so wrong. And I think that's like, and that's what I love about like everyone is making these mistakes, but then also, you know, it's like not doubling down, but it's like, I love how fierce he is to protect himself. Like, of course,
right.
Like
he goes into battle mode.
Yes, like he's an idiot maybe to build that bank there, but he's not an idiot to protect the money.
Oh, and
in the bank.
Setup of the shotguns, the scatter guns underneath each teller's window.
He's home alone. His whole fucking
exactly.
And
that's
do you
exactly
think that
right.
there are other tellers there? That's the other thing I was thinking about. I was like,
1,000.
Is he the only one? Like, I mean, but it is built up like this is a thoroughfare. Like people are coming in and out.
Right. It makes you ask a bunch of questions about who this guy is.
Yes.
In a good Coen way where you're like, any one scene character, you wish you could learn about their entire life. And a lot of that's in casting, but also the details of like, what made him pick this place? Has he ever had other employees?
Well, like, I guess I was wondering in this whole thing, how much the Coens talk to their actors about what they want, because that's also a very big.
You always hear like not that much.
See, that's like Clint Eastwood. I talked to one person who was in Unforgiven, and he's like, I went to Clint, and I was like,
Morgan Freeman
said, and he was like, I went to him, I was like, I want to do this, I want to do that, and he goes, no, you're the actor,
right,
you do that,
don't you tell me about it,
right, and I was like, so interesting, and I wondered if they were like this because it's a great choice. He plays it. I mean, they're playing very different energies, and you could play that.
To have that degree of freedom on a Clint Eastwood movie, to have that degree of freedom and know that you're only going to get one take because he's famous for only doing one, maybe two takes. That's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel. What were you going to say?
I just had an intimate dinner with Bradley Cooper. And
well.
By intimate dinner, I mean like me and 20 other people at a dinner for his new movie with him and Will Arnett and a couple
what'd you guys have?
Wait a second. Is this thing on?
It was on. This thing was on. And Bradley, of course, did depart before dinner was over to pick up his daughter from Russian class. Which I was like, okay.
Yeah.
But I chatted to Bradley Cooper for a bit. And all I wanted to ask him about was Clint Eastwood, because of course I'm obsessed with Clint Eastwood. And that is what I was asking about. And I was sort of like, is it as intense as you imagine? And he was like, not at all. No. He's like jazz, baby. He's just walking around. He's like, why don't you try this? It's all very flowy and smooth. And he was like, and there were a couple times we screwed something up.
Oh, interesting.
And it was okay.
Yeah.
Nobody was like,
meaning they didn't get it or something.
Right. Where it's like, yeah, no, we can relight it. We can, it's like, it wasn't quite as severe as you imagine is how he was putting it to me. Obviously he's Bradley Cooper. He probably has a little more, weight to throw around.
But I think that's also I think the misnomer is if you got it, you got it. And you move on.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
Clint's whole thing is also, it's just I think the more you do it, the more you get away from it. That's Clint's philosophy is what you hear.
By the way, I was just double checking. The person that I talked to about Clint Eastwood, Saul Rubinek.
Oh, there you go.
Yes.
Of course. And he's
so,
so good in them.
Right. And so I just was I think it is.
Yeah.
But that idea being it's like Alfred Hitchcock would talk about. He's like, oh, I've already done the hard part before I get to set.
I think the Coens are closer to that. From what I have heard, without being...
Because they prepare so meticulously for all the visual stuff.
That Hitchcock was almost dismissive of actors.
Right. Hitchcock is the kind of
he's moving dolls around the set.
They're my little Playmobil figures.
An impediment to his perfect creative vision.
Fincher-esque, if you would argue.
I think Eastwood is, I hired you, I trust you, do whatever you want.
I am an actor.
But come prepared, know your lines.
Right. I expect you to be a professional, but then this is your space.
I'm not going to pull this out of you.
Right. And the problem is when people are great in Eastwood movies, when he's cast them perfectly, they fucking kill it. And you see people who are sort of stranded at sea, and you know that he wasn't giving them any help, right?
Well, and I think that you can also say that for Soderbergh is like that too sometimes. I think Soderbergh moves very quickly, and sometimes people can really be pop in a Soderbergh.
Why is he not tending to me? The thing I've always heard about the Coens is that they just don't want to get into the psychology of it. It's very objective based, but they know what they want. They love collaboration.
But if I go up to them and I'm like, and why am I robbing this bank? They would be like, shh.
That's not,
because you need the money. That's what they would say,
That's very Mamet. That's very just say the lines.
They won't let you fuck up. They won't let you drown, and they will take the time to get it right.
And that's the difference. It's there are very few bad performance, if any.
I think not really.
Yeah.
Well, that's a triumph of casting, and their scripts are incredible. I heard Rogan on the Lebowski.
Lebowski.
I was at that reading of Lebowski.
Did you read, or were you?
No, I was in the audience.
Right, okay.
And what blew my mind when watching it, because I know that movie so well, was how much of the ums and uhs, how much of the unique speech patterns for everybody were in the writing. The actors hadn't brought that cadence or those things to it. It was all there. That blew me away.
If you build up the career like this, you start to enter a magical phase that I think is very similar to Wes Anderson right now, where it's everyone knows what the tone of a performance is in one of your movies, what they like out of actors, how the language should sound. It's easy to do the work at home.
A lot of security in I know you do a good job. If you're on a Wes Anderson set or whatever.
But you also don't. The script is written so specifically, and the proof of concept exists out there, and you go, I think I can figure out what they want and come correct.
And I think the interesting difference with Wes Anderson, and maybe I'm making a generalization here, but he really does go, I'm going to work with the same people because I don't even want to. I mean, there are new people every now and then, but it's it feels like these people will deliver this thing. Whereas the Coens feel like there's a stable, but they are bringing in new people, and they're killing it. I feel, it's they seem like they want to meet new talent.
Well, and there's a greater variety in their tones. They will switch within a couple different modes versus Wes Anderson making very different films that all have a very similar sensibility.
So you see this film. Yeah. You've watched the first two segments, and I feel like you're okay, I get it. This is Coen Brothers Western, little nuggets being thrown at me. And then you watch Meal Ticket. Because I feel like Meal Ticket has to be the third, where it's a little bit of a halt. This is not quite, it's not all going to be bandits and Indians and cowboys and banks and right. Meal Ticket is a crazy
Meal Ticket was my favorite.
Sorbet.
The first time I saw it, Meal Ticket was my favorite because it was so it's so affecting, and I think it even hits harder after the first two. You're just the scene where he is having sex with the prostitute, and he's just looking down the barrel of the camera. I'm like, oh my god! It's just
turned him away.
Henry Melling, is that his name?
Harry
Melling. I'm so sorry.
He said this completely transformed his career. Obviously, he's Dudley Dursley.
But this is kind of his reclamation.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely incredible, because the vast majority of this piece is only him reciting all of these incredible monologues.
Without the use of most of his body.
Without
his extremities.
And it is just on him, and there is no dialogue until almost the end. And that is, I mean, ancillary dialogue, any dialogue between him and Liam Neeson.
But Neeson says like a combined 40 words in this thing maximum. And I feel like Harry Melling does not have a single line
he doesn't
off stage.
Communicate unless he's doing the poetry.
He is like he is the chicken.
Right.
Like, I mean, he is not a human. And that is so and that's so interesting to me. It's
so this is about podcasts having to pivot to video, right?
Absolutely. That's what it's about. Right.
That's what the chicken is.
It is.
Yeah. The comedic concept that one time is an occurrence, 2 times it's coincidence, 3 times it's a pattern, right? This is to your point, David, where they're starting to train you to understand, oh, there is a through line. All of these stories are going to come back to the same notion of how we negotiate death, right? And that Franco is this guy who, in my opinion, my reading is he thinks he's above it. He starts to think that he's magical, that nothing can get to him, right?
Maybe I'm invincible.
And he has this final moment where he looks at the young girl in the crowd, and he's not even concerned about the noose around his neck.
There's a pretty girl.
Because he's basically, as James Franco is wont to do when he sees a young woman in a crowd, he's basically thinking like, oh, it'd be great when I go flirt with that woman in like half an hour when I'm down from here.
I'm gonna the noose will break and I'll make a run for it.
He's not like imagining, wouldn't it be great if I was there with her? Well, he's thinking I will be there with her.
He's there to say death is inescapable. And if you think you got away with it, you didn't.
So watching that segment, you don't really know what it's about. And the second it ends with his death and then like hard out, that's where they're teaching you, oh, this is going to come for everyone in this segment in some way or another.
Well, then what is the difference that you see between the first and second, like, approach to death? Because obviously Buster Scruggs feels invincible.
Yeah.
He feels like death is never going to come for him. He's not
even thinking about it.
No, he is a showman and he is, almost showboating around it, and that's what gets him killed. Then the second one, it's like, I guess maybe the difference is that the first person feels like he's unkillable. The second one feels like he can escape death.
Yeah.
And the third one is it's inevitable.
Well, and the third one, you're watching it and you're like, what does this have to do with the other two outside of like the brutality of this time, right?
I think there's something about how in each of the first two, you could argue death is coming for them because they are engaged in life and death events. They are seeking out or are part of things that lead to people's deaths. Melling is a true innocent.
He is seemingly also out of danger,
innocent,
right?
So it even comes for the innocent.
Yes.
The cruelty of this world is that even the innocent, even the artists, even the soft are going to be.
Melling is movie theaters and the chicken is Netflix.
Yeah,
okay.
Sure. And that is true. And Ted Sarandos does have the chicken in his office.
I mean, my reading is that this is what were you?
No, I have a reading too. But what's your reading?
This is them commenting on the kind of level of disdain that show business has for the creatives.
I agree.
A little bit of that.
That 100%. It's like they view them as freaks, and their job is to like build an industry around their bizarre
and also
thing.
grab the next thing that grab the next thing. There's no loyalty to the thing.
The second you don't have an audience,
right,
you are garbage to me.
But Neeson is sympathetic, partly because it's Liam Neeson. He's a great actor, but he could do so much with his face or whatever. But like, he does feel bad.
But to my point,
he tosses someone in the river.
And to what you were saying, right? Of like, he seems safe. This is not a guy who exists in a world of danger, right? He has been rescued. One of the few full lines that Neeson has is when he's going to the crowd with the can, collecting money, and he's patting himself on the back for like, isn't it such a sad story? Look at him. I found him in the street like this, no arms and legs. I saved him. Like, he's giving himself the honor of, look at me, the hero who discovered the nobility of this man with a poet's heart and the ability to speak to the masses.
But that's a studio head.
Totally.
Right?
And then the second he stops drawing a crowd, it's like, this guy's fucking garbage.
Right.
Well, it's somebody who used to care about putting art out and is now concerned with...
He wants the prestige of standing next to high art.
Beyond everyone's studio's takes, and you guys definitely are not annoyed at Hollywood at all in any way.
Everything in Hollywood is going according to plan.
A+, A-okay.
Our careers are going perfectly and exactly how we thought they would play out.
It's also like in these ideas of the West is this like, white American European culture is encroaching on this like wild land, right? Where they're like, listen, gathered, peasants, to the Shakespeare. and Percy, but and like I love those reaction shots of like the old people going, just like they don't know what he's saying, right? Like it's just, but these like words are so interesting, and like then there's the brutality, like but at the end of the day, they're gonna like the chicken more. So like
but
there's only so much civilization.
Remember when Brian Cox and the actors all came to Deadwood?
Yes, I do.
I love that sequence of episodes.
It is amazing because you're watching Deadwood knowing season 3 is the last season. David Milch doesn't know that or whatever, and like with about 4 episodes to go, suddenly it's about Brian Cox like ordering ham, and you're like, this is 1 episode, right? And it's like, no, this is like 3 episodes. Anyway,
but I guess maybe in a broader sense, it's just about how new takes over. Like a mom and pop store gets taken over by a Target, right? Like, I mean, and it's about culture evolving. Somebody figures out, this is a simpler way,
it's
an easier way
of
showing
TV
you
being replaced by reality TV. And that's why we went on strike in 2007.
And we got everything we needed. But I mean, I do think that like, yes, we are looking at it through the lens of like directors and actors. But I also think that is how society runs too. The newer, flashier thing will always overtake.
I think there are a couple other things going on. I mean, you were saying that they went to Netflix and they went to Annapurna because they said, what studio is going to greenlight this? But you look at some of the quotes they have from talking about setting up this film, and beyond like, well, we're doing something weird and unconventional, so we have to go to an unconventional place. They were already saying, it does feel like a kind of grown-up movie has died. It does feel like the industry has shifted. It does feel like it's harder to sell anything that isn't Marvel.
Of course.
And these are guys who have been able to do
They've
basically
been doing that for 30 years.
Exactly what they want for decades. And even while still getting things made, they're like, we can feel it moving. We can feel it moving past us. Maybe we're Harry Melling and the crowd's starting to thin out. We've not been thrown over the bridge yet, but you can see it going down. And it's always going to come to the brass tacks of, does it cost less to feed a chicken than a guy, right? Like, that's what's so brutal about this segment, is you really see that the calculation in Liam Neeson's mind is like, I gotta feed him with the spoon. I gotta think about his feelings.
This chicken, you just throw some corn at him.
I gotta hold him. I gotta hold him while he shits and pisses.
Right. It's the bag of feed is the thing that changes it for him, where he's just like, it's just this.
Well, I think that image of from behind him with the bird cage, looking out into the thing, it's like it's an easier life, and that's what he's living, a hard life.
Everyone's
I think
just trying to survive.
That opening is just like, I'm putting down the thing, I'm putting down the hat, I'm doing this other thing. It just seems so hard. But I also wonder, and I don't know if I have an answer for this, why was that guy so willing to sell a chicken?
Sure. Is this chicken going to die in a year? I mean, it's a chicken.
Right.
Like,
it always felt to me like the chicken is a scam.
Yeah.
Right.
It does feel like, this chicken can't actually do much.
And my read is also that Neeson like wildly overpaid. That Neeson basically put his life savings towards the chicken.
Because there was a part of me
he's down to
felt
zero.
like
it's a get rich quick scheme.
Yeah.
There's a part of me, and I think I wanted this moment, is like, that guy had, I mean, this is a full invention, that guy had a little man underneath that cart to do the math.
And he's not selling him the man.
He's not selling the man.
Right.
He's selling them, like, it's like, because that's the scam.
Or he
right?
came with plants, audience plants.
Right.
Whatever.
I think the chicken isn't as much of a golden goose as he thinks it is.
It's
right?
Chicken. It's it's not a goose.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay.
But by the
I
way,
think the chicken's kind of a canard.
As a kid, I grew up in New York. And
that is French for dog.
Okay, but wait a second. Let me try.
As a kid, I went with my dad to Chinatown all the time, and I saw this. This is what I saw. It was the most exciting, fun thing to ever see. It was so cool. It was like a chicken that could do math, and they had a game, a tic-tac-toe game where you would play against a chicken. It was like a battery-powered game, and it was like, and it was great.
Right, and obviously there was Letterman's Stupid Pet Tricks.
Right.
Yeah.
I think quite possibly the answer is...
Now, it should have been Letterman taking his cabin boy character. Now, that's a universe.
Letterman would have crushed in Buster Scruggs. They could have tossed him in there.
I think Letterman in that section might have been fantastic.
Want to buy a monkey?
Yeah.
His cabin boy character would fit perfectly in this film. I think part of what's going on, even if it's not like a little man, it's in the building of the cart, or it's in the way he trains the chicken. I think this guy, Liam Neeson's coming up to him, offering to pay more and more money. And he's like, the chicken's not the thing. There's some secret that he's not selling to Liam Neeson. And even if he is telling him the secret, he's like, I can replace the chicken.
Right.
The chicken's not the thing. If I want to still do the chicken act,
Right.
I go to a farm, I get a new
He didn't
chicken.
sell him the cart.
Right.
He sold, and the cart, I mean, I guess it's, buyer beware too. I mean, but you don't see the buyer beware part. You just see the shiny new.
You just see how quickly he makes the
You also don't see him kill Harry Melling. You just infer.
But that drop, that sound effect, that plunk,
it's brutal.
Is brutal.
It's tough.
And I think to what you were saying, David, there's this notion of, oh my God, they're bringing high art to the people, right? Here's a sophisticated show and this audience sits rapt attention, giving him ultimate respect and then applauding. But the subtext is, they're here to see the freak, right? Like the fact that he's such a good dramatic orator is the party trick. It's no different than a chicken being able to do math. The actual thing that's interesting is the creature on stage.
Right.
And that's just the dressing on top of it. And the second, the material isn't working,
right,
the novelty of the guy is out the window and the guy has no value.
But I think I would argue that what's interesting is I may not have understood what that guy said, and I may not have even gotten the point, but it left me thinking, and that was interesting, and that was cool. And maybe part of that is the body, but the other thing is irrefutable. I saw an animal do math.
Right.
I know what I saw, and that
less work involved.
Right. A to B.
Right. It's like I can tell you what I saw. Where the other one is like
quicker dopamine.
I felt something. I don't know how I felt about it, and I can't tell you. It's art. It's a difference of art, and
it's also the difference that this isn't being framed as like a sideshow act, right? Like there are guys like Johnny Eck, who's in like Freaks, who was the famous half man who lacked a lower body.
Right. He's not showing off he's showing off his acting skills.
There were so many successful performers of this time who were born with like different like physical issues, right? Who then made their act, watch me roll a cigarette with my teeth, watch me do this without legs. And he's not doing that. The fact that he is armless and legless is irrelevant to the material of what he's doing. And yet the harsh reality is they would not be bothering to pay attention to you if you didn't look like this.
Well, yeah. And I also feel like they make a really cool choice of not making him like, the minute he gets off stage going, you motherfucker, it's
like, they don't do the baby Harry.
Right, yeah.
You just don't hear him.
He doesn't talk.
No, he doesn't talk.
But with his
face, like a parrot who you put the sheet over the
you see his face and you know that that's why I think the emotion is.
It's why that guy, Harry Melling, is in a lot of stuff now. Like looking at his face, you're just
there is a sadness to his existence and his inability to connect. And when he is on stage, he feels like a person. He is speaking some truth for him. And the idea that people are paying attention makes him feel like he is valid.
And I actually think, to your point, they might come because he has he has this odd body, but that goes out the window.
Yes.
Once it starts. And I think that that's actually a really beautiful thing too. It's like, I'm just caught up in
they do.
This.
They are moved by him. It's true.
It's also such a funny use of Neeson, who they have never worked with before.
No.
Right? And it's just like stripping down everything about Liam Neeson as a movie star culturally, which especially in the late 2010s is like, now you've had this whole fucking Euro thriller. Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, you're taking away that. You're taking away like dramatic actor Oscar Schindler. You're just like, this guy looks really strange and has a very intense voice. Liam Neeson is just a physical presence and a vocal presence that is one of one. And what if you put that in an entirely different context and you're just like, there's a lot going on in this guy.
Well, it's also, he does not, and in a way that Liam Neeson could feel so imposing and so threatening, and he doesn't.
He feels small.
And even when he's measuring the depth of the water with the rock, you don't feel like there is cruelty or malice.
No.
You feel like he is sad. He
communicates.
He's sad that he's doing an incredible job.
And he thinks it's a mercy killing. Like that's part of the tragedy and like the brutality of this movie, and in his exploration of death as a concept, is that he's doing the math of, if he can't bring an audience anymore, then he should be dead, right? And it's not as a judgment. It speaks to a certain extent that he has always viewed him as a little less than human, but he thinks it is an act of sympathy. I'll put you out of your suffering.
I also think that what I get, I go back to the opening. I think the openings of all these are really interesting because you open with putting on the thing, he's setting up it's hard. And it's like he is he's in show business, but he's doing manual labor. He is I think, beaten down by it. It's every night, a different town, everything. It's like, and he's doing actually more work to
put on the podcast.
To put on.
He's setting up the cameras. He's editing clips.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's like, and wouldn't it be easier? Wouldn't it just my life be better? And it's like, and I think that's what you see. Like, you're not seeing him on the day that he found him. You're not seeing him on this is what, 7 years in, whatever it is. It's like, and you feel those years. It's just never going to change. It's never getting better. And his life is empty and alone. And I don't know. I think it's a very they're both sympathetic characters.
And I also love that it's not like packed house and then one night it's empty and he goes for the chicken. That you see a real kind of durational, the crowd tapering off and they're not coming back. And you see like 4 or 5 performances that are all losing energy, right? This guy's like sticking it out.
All Gold Canyon is the next one.
Yes. It's
we
based
have to talk about that one.
on a Jack London story.
It is.
Okay.
I don't know much about it apart from that it's a Jack London story.
Which
of course,
one?
that's
Sorry,
Tom Waits.
Tom Waits one, which is Jack London's the guy who wrote White Fang and all that, all those
Call the
boys'
Wild,
adventures.
right?
And this
Call
is
the Wild.
This is like a silent short. This is as close to a silent short as I think you can get.
Well, they're 2 great words that get repeated.
Yeah.
Mr. Pocket.
But also does have the Tim Robinson thing, not to keep it of like, it's so beautiful, it's so quiet. And then when he gets shot, he's like, you motherfucker.
Yeah.
Like, he won't stop saying, you suck.
Yeah.
Why'd you do that?
Yeah.
You shot me in the back.
I did all this work. Like, he's just saying, we're like, we know. We watched you do it. You know, but he's like, it really sucked. You shot me in the back.
Well, also, this is like the most innately...
It didn't hit nothing important. Ben, you want to
It went right through.
Yeah.
Hit nothing but guts.
I think Tom Waits is perfect.
Agreed.
He's perfect.
Another guy you
How
can't
has he
believe
never-
they hadn't worked with
I was going to say, how has he never been in a Coen Brothers movie?
Were they writing it? I think I wonder, like thinking of him the entire time. I would love to know.
I would think so, especially even just the choice of the song to kick off the segment feels so just part of his repertoire,
and that it bookends. As he is leaving through the exact same way that he came, he's singing the same song again, which I thought was beautiful.
Now, this is their first one they shot on digital. I didn't mention this. And
after Roger Deakins said he would never shoot on digital.
Right. Well, it's not Deakins, it's Bruno Del Bonell.
Oh, interesting. I didn't notice that.
I do feel like this is like obviously the most like them being like the magnificence, right? Like, you know, it's so beautiful and lush.
The crystal clarity of
the animals and all that. Right. And like they're messing with the style in each segment, and this is the true just like the majesty of the West. And it's like, but of course at the end of the day it's a weird little Santa Claus just trying to dig rocks out of the ground.
Do you
another
think
guy
though,
tries to
do you
shoot
think
him.
that there's a connection between like giving a voice to the legless guy from the last, you know, like in this one, because it's sort of like he is killed for, you know, he's shot in the back. Like there's that thing, like how could you do this? Like it's you hear the voice of the aggrieved in that moment, and I feel like you don't get to hear that in the one before.
Measly skunk.
Well, this is the great thing about the segment is that he doesn't die. That after watching
it is the one
3
optimistic one
in a row, you're like, I get it. All of these are people marching towards their inevitable death. And because of the tension that is built from just how methodical it is, how slow it is, the process of the finding it, the thing with the owl, which starts to feel supernatural, you know, or at least kind of like spiritual in a way. You're just like, how's this guy gonna fucking get it? But you're watching it and you like this guy so fucking much.
Oh,
and
he's
he works
working the egg
so
with the fish
hard, right? And he only takes 1 egg.
Yeah,
right.
He
I
could
love it.
get greedy, but he's like, I'll just take 1.
He's like, how much can the owl count?
Yeah,
Right, exactly.
But this thing feels so lush and romantic, and he is so sympathetic that you're just like, oh, Jesus Christ.
And he's good at it.
When's the axe going to fall on his head? And I hate it. And there's this tension.
Process. I love the process of digging each exploratory hole. Oh, less. Oh, let me go the other way. More. Now less. Okay.
He's got the
so
markers.
the vein is somewhere up here. And
the counting of the like 3,
Loved
shake,
it. It
new
actually
spot 4.
loved it.
It reminded me in many ways of the opening of There Will Be Blood, in the sense of like methodical there, and like, you know, obviously that character goes downhill, but it's like, you know, with Rich, but becoming rich, but this character, I feel like he will not stop. Shooting will not stop. Like he will get his thing, and that's the same thing when he breaks his leg in the opening of There Will Be Blood. how long was that town for? How far was that?
But for that, you're like, this is what makes a man evil. Like, this is the death of his soul. This is a guy who perhaps had no morality to begin with, and then he's forged in the darkness of this like pit to come out and do whatever he needs to survive. And then versus this story, which is like, what if you start with like an old Walter Brennan style coot, who's usually just the butt of the joke and the character who maybe gets a little moment of like more emotion, but if you really got to live with this guy and his process, it's hard not to start caring about him, especially as something of an innocent versus these other stories.
Who's working so hard.
And you're like, God, what a waste when someone's going to come and steal all his fucking gold. You know that's what's going to happen. And
I thought it was crazy when he's digging those holes and he keeps finding jeans. He keeps
crazy.
finding jeans.
Yeah. I know.
These are even more valuable than the gold.
Worth thousands.
Congratulations, YOU.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to say about this one except that it's just truly delightful.
It's delightful, and I think it's like, but I think this is what the beauty of this movie is. There are some that are very slight, and I think that they do something that's interesting. It's like Walter Brennan. Here's a twist on Walter Brennan. Here's a very simple, a subverting of expectation in two ways: character and your ending. And then boom, and we're fine, and we just move on. It's like the James Franco one. It's like
the Franco one's similar. It's like, right, what if you did like Occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, but without the twist?
Well, I think the other thing going on in this short is him putting back 2 of the 3 eggs, right?
Yes,
In the words of our great American poet, Seth MacFarlane, there are a million ways to die in the West, right?
Okay.
And as much as there is,
true. Liam Neeson in that as
but
well.
But it's also kind of in the words of one of our great Na'vi poets, Neytiri, kind of educating Sully on like, only take what you need.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
Is that in Fire and Ash?
We'll see. We'll see.
Because of the way they filmed the owl, right?
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is going to be a story about a man who is cursed for his greed.
Right.
That the owl is going to place some kind of curse upon him. But these are like people trying to survive. They make terrible decisions, uncharismatic decisions, but it's part of the danger and the lawlessness of this time that you get the sense if he had grabbed 3 eggs because why not? I'm hungry. The owl would have like spited him and smited him.
Right.
But the generosity of, I get it. You just need to survive. As long as you're only eating one of my babies,
well, then
I'm looking out for you.
And I think that there's also a lot of that, like that care. Like it's the same thing that happens with Franco with the Native American, like on the horse. Yeah. Like it comes up to him. It's like there is sympathy, or there
moments
is
of connection,
right?
There's a respect for life,
right?
And also, this is the guy who's like in touch with nature, in touch with the land, in touch with the world, and like has some inner sense of joy. And the owl's like, as long as you're not taking more than you need, I accept that this is just the give and take of life,
right?
And then it feels like that is almost supernaturally what makes the bullet go through him, which allows him to like get,
And everybody who dies so far is taking liberties, right? Like our first character, everyone is taking a little bit more than they need to. If it's talking to the camera in the first one, if it's, committed, like it's like they're not learning their lesson. They are continually, well, what else can I get?
And the joy he gets from killing this young guy in revenge is, as you're saying, David, like a principled, like, I worked this hard and you're just going to take it from me? Like, that's not how this works.
Just him seeing the movement, the shadow movement on the ground in front of him on the hole, and knowing there's someone there and he's shot before he even looks is great.
I love that image too, how his shirt gets more bloody too. Like when you're above it, it's like a beautiful shot.
I'm old, but you're older.
And you're just so happy when he like rides off singing and you're like, oh my God, he makes it out of this alive.
But he doesn't ride off.
I'm sorry.
He drags his donkey. I just love that detail too about the character.
Yeah.
Right.
Workmanlike. It's another like, I'm not leaving anything behind. It's like, it's like, it's
I'm thoughtful.
Yeah.
He's committed to doing it the old way. Audio only. No video. No video. Just audio like the medium was intended.
Now, we've broken the pattern, right? So it's like, this is the first segment in which arguably our central character doesn't die at the end.
Right.
So then when you enter the Zoe Kazan segment,
get ready for a hammer blow. But maybe you don't know that.
That for me is like the value of this and why it does need to be longer, because it's like fucking with your whole, even like your internal rhythms of like, this one feels like it's going deeper than the other one.
I also misremembered this one too as I was watching, because I thought that I remembered her brother dying. And then I was like, and the guy, the wagon train guy, falling in love with her. And I had remembered it as him dying as well. That everybody around her starts to fall. And it wasn't that. And I was once again like heartbroken at the end of
with the final
Bill
shot.
Heck.
He is so good in this.
He is. He's fantastic.
But no, you end with the final shot of just seeing what's his name, Mr. Andrews.
Yeah,
riding off in the distance to
Mr.
tell
Arthur.
Mr. Arthur.
Yes.
What am I going to tell
Hines.
Bill Knapp?
Right.
Is what the line says.
Yes. I just think it's so good in the way, like, the movie has trained you to feel like you understand how these stories are going to go. And then this upends it by being like, these are the most human characters you have seen yet. We're really investing in their emotional dynamic. There is like a sensitivity and a subtlety and a presence to this. It is the least showy cinematically. It feels like when they are in conversation, it is like sustained shot, reverse shot mediums where he is like, they are letting the actors control the scenes.
I will also say that these last two pieces are heavily dialogue driven. Yeah. Right. And
right. Versus maybe the tranquility of the fourth one. Yeah.
And you know, like throughout they're very like, yes. And like, while that performer is doing these monologues, it's not
characters aren't talking
to each other. Right. And it's like,
right. There are monologues happening. Yeah.
And I feel like that opening sequence is something like it felt like out of A Serious Man or something like that. Like it's
the dinner table.
It's quick and it's this fight and you're in and it's like, oh wow, it really like that. I love that opening. I'm like, whoa, what is this?
But it's also so weird. There's like they're doing all the Western stuff, but you're like, oh wait, is this Johnny Guitar? Is this like a really strange lens
what are they riffing on? Because you're like, there's a wagon train, there's this notion of an arranged marriage, there's the future out west. Like, what is
the untrustworthy brother? What's it?
Like,
and
who is going to screw over who? Like, who's lying?
Yeah, there's a sort of sense of misdirect of you're trying to get ahead of them and go like, what is this segment? And it takes so long to reveal itself. And because Tom Waits walks off scot-free, and because the brother dies early in this, even if you've accepted these are all about death, you go, maybe it's about grieving.
Well, and
maybe it's about living in the wake of a death of someone close. You are lulled into a sense of security of this is not going to just be a tragic rug pull of this romance ending.
How death can maybe actually create new life, because that's what you're kind of seeing is like, we're going to get married. We're going to stay here from the Homestead Act. We're going to, and we'll actually build something better than even going to the new frontier.
And going on longer and it's living more with these characters, it grows past feeling like a sketch, right? It starts to feel like they're asking me to invest real emotional weight into this. So clearly they wouldn't bite my hand.
Bite your hand, speaking of, like one of my favorite things in this one is how disliked by everyone the dog is. Like how to go against the grain of everything else, which is the dog is the villain, like that she even is like, that's not my dog.
You could
if
argue,
everybody's mad at the dog, it's not me.
You could argue in a long tail way, the dog is the most responsible for her death.
Yes.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
She doesn't go off if the dog doesn't.
She's not walking at the prairie dogs or whatever. But I also,
if he kills the dog successfully.
Yes.
Happy ending.
They're married.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I also love about it is the way that they seed the punchline, right? Or the setup is really kind of beautifully hidden. It's like, okay, look, if this goes down like this, you hear it and it sounds like very heroic, but you don't like, it's like when you realize it at the end, you're like, oh, right. It really is a magic trick ending because it tells you what's happening. It's like, if I go down, you kill yourself.
But his line at the end is like, poor girl. She didn't know she could have made it.
Yeah.
You know that it's like this misinterpretation of a second.
Of a moment. Yeah.
Of a moment, of a movement, of a sound.
But he made her so afraid and gave her what to do. And she
told her the story.
She just followed
future.
Through.
Right. And this was the better of two bad options. And it's like, if he had sat up a second earlier.
Well, that's it.
If he had made a noise.
But here's my thought about it too. She has just gone through death. Right. And I think that she's quick. Like she's not, maybe if she didn't go through death, she would have waited a moment more. But like, she's like, okay, boom. I'm like that. She made that choice instantly. And I don't know if that's about grief. I don't know if that's about grief, but I have to imagine that quickness of the choice feels like she's been there, she knows, and
Here's what I think it's about. I think this segment is about two characters very, very tentatively and with great doubt considering, has the world reached a state of modernity where we could live a life based on happiness first? And the fact that it's all about you have to get in this wagon and follow your shitty, dumb brother because he might have a prospect of a man for you to marry because maybe you're seen as a little plain and a little timid. No one wants to marry you, and that's your ultimate value as a woman, right? There's no notion of marrying for love, marrying for happiness.
No, it's like you're making it to Oregon. You're going to have to survive. Like, we're planting footholds out here, baby.
But
yeah.
I think she plays a beautiful balance of she's not treating this as she's walking towards her death sentence. It is what it is. I guess I maybe have to marry my brother's friend, but maybe he's not even that interested in me. Maybe there's not a guy there, whatever, right?
Yeah. And she doesn't play, and I was thinking about this too, she doesn't play it totally either. Like, I think a lot of times you see like true, or you see like so tentative, so awkwardly, like, oh, no one will like, this is a unlikable thing. She's just kind of
is what it is.
Vanilla. Like, that's it. You know, it's like
she's nice.
And
nice.
In their odd backwards courtship, which is sort of like presented as a marriage of convenience, an arrangement that this is a business proposal, this is a survival mechanism, whatever. They are both refusing to really let themselves accept that maybe this is what they emotionally want. All of their conversations keep happening in non-emotional terms while there is clearly an emotional connection happening, where the reason she hesitates when he proposes it to her is, I think what she plays very well is the notion of, I actually have caught feelings for this guy, and him presenting it as, well, I'll just do this because it saves us both money. Is that a worse fate for me to end up with a guy who I care about, who is viewing me as means to an end? Or is he doing this out of pity? That would hurt me more. That they're both feeling each other out of being too afraid to acknowledge, I actually think I just like you, because that's not really a thing afforded to people.
Well,
Because
it's also not what was being done at that time.
Exactly.
People weren't marrying for love and for, it was convenience. It was arrangements that made sense. And so
can you justify, like, you have to justify your feelings through some sort of balance sheet that this world identifies and says is the right way to do it.
The tragedy of her brother's death opens up an opportunity of living a life of enjoyment and pleasure, right? And like self-fulfillment and being understood and seen, which both of them feel skeptical about. And his whole fear is obviously, I don't want to end up like fucking Mr. Arthur. This guy's like the best of the West, but what? He's an old man who like sleeps on rocks, and like what? He's going to die in 2 years. I feel this guilt of leaving him here to do this alone, but also this is probably my only off-ramp to living a quote unquote normal life.
Well, a life that is, or a life that could be happy or full of love. And in the last segment, which, David, would you like to segue into the last segment?
Absolutely. The Mortal Remains, my favorite segment, but also a perfect, like I said, capper to their career in a way.
We'll say I gave Zoe Kazan a supporting actress nomination this same year as well.
She's great. I mean, I love her.
Stunning.
She makes this piece work with every moment she's on screen.
Because
she is electric to watch.
Don't want to see her.
Can I say one thing about, because as you just were talking about that, I just want to hit one thing and we'll go right into 5, is that idea that, is there also a thing about it's easy to give up?
Very.
And I feel like that, like, because it's like she doesn't give up initially, and when her brother dies and I'm going to move forward. She doesn't give up again. Like, she keeps on not giving up, but then at the end, it's like, it's too hard. I'm just going to.
Yeah, at a certain point, it's like, Jesus Christ. Like, what's life going to be like?
Well, I'm probably in my 20s. I probably have a life expectancy of 40. Like, what are we doing?
Right. And it's like, and already in this like handful of days,
like everything's being I mean, it's the wagon train thing.
I can't go back. Where's back? Like, there's no future ahead of me, but my past exists even less.
And then suddenly this sliver of hope opens up towards not just a possible future, but possibly a good love-filled future. In the final episode, when they're in the thing, and the trapper is talking about the woman that he was involved with, and someone says, "Did you love her?" Like, this is, I think, the first time the word love has been spoken in the entire movie. And he's like, what? Like, what are you even talking about? Like, what is love?
Right. That's
as a
luxury.
concept. That doesn't exist for another 100 years.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think you could argue that the characters in the first 3 segments, I mean, like, Tom Waits is obviously a guy who refuses to give up and wins, right?
Right.
But the other 3 are people who push through some kind of struggle or danger, and you look at their ultimate deaths, and you go, would it have been better if they just gave up at an earlier point?
Right.
Like, what are you fighting for? To a certain
But meanwhile,
degree?
when she gives up, it was just over the crest of the hill where her life is. Her
Correct.
new life is.
It was about to happen.
Right.
And she gave up because of a misunderstanding, which is, I just think, such a profound tragedy.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And this one's loosely based on a couple different pieces.
It's
and
based on a story called The Gal Who Got Rattled.
Yeah.
By Stuart Edward White. I don't know much more about it. I mean, that's why this.
So it's this one and the Tom Waits one.
which
are
is
the
why this
two
snuck in as an
adaptations.
adapted screenplay.
It was a
nominee
surprise
at the
nomination because
Oscars.
no one was really thinking of this as an adapted
Got it.
movie.
Right.
But also, I feel like the specific story that is cited is also based on kind of a legend of a folk tale
Sure.
of similar sort of.
Like a Western, like this is like a Western
They're all
trope.
tropes. Yeah.
Yes.
And I mean, like,
Yeah.
and that's why I feel like the end is really, when you talk about like different, and that I think is why, like, when you leave this movie, it all pulls it. I mean, it really does pull the chords all together at the end.
Well,
and I think
the final one being this kind of, it was so starkly different, both in how it's done, how it looks. It is so insular. It is almost
supernatural.
entirely
Well,
inside of the carriage. It's in a studio.
Right. The creepiness of you realize how dark it's gotten. And then the extra creepiness of them being like, stop the carriage. And they're like, oh, it doesn't stop, like, for anything. Like, Tyne Daly might just have to bite it, like, and then.
And this is an episode of The Daily Show. We should call it.
And this is an episode.
No, this
of
is
the Tyne
Cagney and
Daly.
Lacey.
Yeah.
This is an episode of Cagney and Lacey.
No,
right
I'm more of
here.
a Judging Amy guy.
Oh, Brennan.
She was so good on that.
I
show.
will also say that this is, I think why I lean in a lot here too, is like, these are 5 actors that are just, this is dialogue heavy, and I am riveted to it. And maybe it's also because of the lack of it, or this kind of pacing all the way through. It's like, yeah.
But this is a classic Coens juice of just watching like 5 great character actors fucking cut it up.
Chelsea Ross, who I love.
Great.
The great Chelsea Ross, who plays the trapper, just gets
So
to pop
good.
off for 5 minutes.
Mark Lynn Baker.
Mark Lynn Baker. Who's Mark Lynn Baker? No.
Is it? No. Who is it? Who is?
Do you mean as the Englishman?
No.
Who do you mean?
Saul Rubinek is the Frenchman.
Yes.
Tyne Daly is the
Is Mrs. Betjeman.
Yes.
The
Who am I
posh-
thinking of?
I think you're thinking of John Joe O'Neill, unless you're
maybe.
thinking of Brendan Gleeson.
I always
No,
think
no,
John
Brendan
Joe
Gleeson,
O'Neill is Jeremy Strong. Or not Jeremy Strong, Danny Strong.
It is not. I know what you're saying.
Oh,
no,
well,
It looks like.
Yeah,
the guy's name is John Joe O'Neill. He
Yeah.
also kind of looks like Mark Lynn Baker.
Does he
Like,
look like Mark Lynn Baker?
Yeah, he does.
He looks like Mark Lynn Baker.
Okay.
He looks like a lot of other guys.
but his name is John Joe O'Neill. He's mostly like an Irish theater actor. But they've all got a monologue except for Brendan Gleeson, who has a song, I feel. But you know what I mean?
love
Like,
that. Oh.
we're sort of trading off, like, everybody gets to talk sort of almost uninterrupted for a bit.
He's also part of a duo act that can be read very cleanly as a self-insert of the Coens, or at least kind of thinking about how they are perceived by their critics. That is part of my reading of this segment. That you have these people who represent... this segment is almost like a fucking Pixar's Inside Out argument between different positions on...
kind of philosophies.
philosophy. It's a
like-
philosophical debate. Each
Right.
character is representing a side of it, right? You have the Saul Rubinek character who is like actually just a philosopher. He is a guy who's very caught up in an academic notion of studying theories of existence. You have a religious woman who also lives with a kind of shuttered, blinded denial of certain areas of existence.
But she's also specifically like she subscribes to like Chautauqua thought, which was like a big thing right at the turn of the century in terms of what she's talking about, that kind of temperate woman's movement. Whereas Chelsea Ross is like, I don't know, I'm a dirty guy with a big beard
He's
who
like a
married a
pragmatist.
Native
He's a
American.
man
But
of the
I realize
land.
we're all the same.
He's a
But
survivalist.
but that's the best part about it, is no matter what you believe, it all is the same.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Chelsea Ross has no theology. He's
Right.
just like, I fuck a woman, doesn't matter, I can't talk to her. I catch some beavers.
We kind of do
I-
some hand signals.
Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah.
Right, it's all good. And then you have these two brothers who I think are representing this notion of the Coens as these sort of like mordant tricksters who love like spitefully kind of like mockingly sending characters to their death.
Well, and that's what I think is kind of this, if it is the
They say
Fine.
like, we enjoy it. We like watching them
Which
die.
is what
Sorry.
their critics say. They
Right.
just
I know exactly.
putting dumb characters in danger and having them die terribly.
Well,
But
and
to have
they
themselves. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say they even say like, "Oh, you can bring them in dead or alive," and they're like, "Yeah, but we only bring them in dead. Like, don't worry, we kill everybody."
yeah.
But I love that if this is the last one, and whether it was not intentional, probably that they didn't know, it's
Maybe
like
not entirely. Yeah.
But this is the first time I feel like you see the two of them represented. I mean, these are very much them, right? I mean,
yes. And even down to they are bounty hunters whose act is one guy's a performer,
right,
who distracts so that the other guy can attack, which speaks to this kind of like the two-headed director thing that people talk about with them, of like two guys approaching the same motive from different angles.
I've always heard also that one talks to you about acting and one is worried all about the technical stuff when you were on set.
Sure.
But also that they represent this sort of like in the ideological wheel of this, that they represent this sort of like we tell ourselves stories in order to live thing, right?
Right.
That like what is their function? Death's coming no matter what. We're not murderers. We're just fulfilling a thing that has already been requested by the universe. And we ease people into that with stories. Right, we tell them stories, we sing them songs, these old folk tales. Well, that's and most of the stories they tell are gothic, are mordant, you know.
And that's why you have that. Like, I think these bookends. It's like the first is like them doing the movie version of how they do it, and then this is like not the commentary track, but the Q&A afterwards. You know, it's like you have the two perspectives of what they're trying to do.
100%.
But there's just one stop on the carriage and everyone's got to get out here.
I fucking love it. And they don't want to.
And they don't want to.
No,
Ladies first. I need help getting down.
It's
like
good. These are some good bits. These are some good I don't want to go bits.
And
I like saw Rubenek going like, yeah, all right, like let me at them. But sorry, Paul, go ahead.
No, I this is something that I just feel like rewatching it. I didn't remember it from the first time as cleanly, and then I was like, oh, this is I think my favorite thing.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. No,
Mark Pease, or I'm sorry, Joshua Pease wrote a piece for the now defunct Birth Movie's Death on this segment when it came out. That's incredibly good about this sort of being what feels like the greatest summation of their worldview.
Forgive me, because even though I'm such a fan and a regular listener, Patreon member, does the dossier get published?
No, it's too like the sources JJ's pulling, like it's like commercializing it anyway is a little tricky. You know, these are academic things we don't want to clear.
What you just said, Griff, is a great example. I would, after some of these things, want to then go and read or listen to or whatever. Please do.
Yeah, you can get.
I like that. I like that idea. Yeah.
JJ is such a law-abiding citizen that anytime we sort
the movie
of
we're doing
the
tomorrow
idea,
night in Philly.
Are you really?
Yep.
Really? Wow.
Have I seen that? Is that the Jamie Foxx one?
Gerard Butler. Yeah.
Right.
And it's F. Gary Gray?
Yes.
Oh, is it?
I think so.
I didn't realize that. I haven't watched it yet.
Is that movie any good? It was like a hit.
It was a hit.
Yeah, it was. I remember when it came out, people were talking about this is the new Seven.
Yeah.
Like this is like the way it was like a you know, it was like that, like I forget it. Yeah, but
it's got a big twist, right?
Right.
Yeah,
it's like
several.
He's done a scheme that's like he gets put in prison and he comes out and he can do bad things or whatever.
Yeah. We're gonna figure it out tomorrow. We watched Monkey Bone today. Which F. Gary Gray.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem with that Monkey Bone is just so normal and regular.
I wish they'd loosen up.
Proceeds in a normal way.
I'm gonna say this tonight on stage. I imagine it's we've been doing this show for 15 years. How did this get made? Is the first time I literally wrote down in my notes, how did this get made? Like, how did it like go past? I don't understand how the script was written. I don't understand how anyone signed on to it. I don't understand any. I was like, and this is not like from the 1970s. This is
we've seen it.
They did it on this show.
We've done it on this show.
Oh, yeah, Henry Selick.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
It's one of the greatest, better, all the years of therapy and analysis and psychiatric work I've done. Rarely has someone nailed me to the wall as hard as Sims. When I was talking about how much I loved this movie when it came out as a child.
Right.
And he was like, it makes perfect sense that the chaos in your brain, how you have described feeling when you were a child, that Monkey Bone would feel like a relief.
Monkey Bone calmed
that
the
it
noise.
calms you down.
If only I could be in the underworld.
Everyone else is like popping Advil watching that movie.
And that my brain was like 17 different like cartoon alarm clocks all doing like routines. I was like, oh, Monkey Ball's kind of settling. Monkey Balls.
Monkey Balls is a good one.
Monkey Bone is a dick. I mean, that represents a penis. JJ just has always been like, if I were to publish these, I would go about them a very different way because he respects.
I get it.
I think that like sometimes it's like it may just be nice to have just the straight up links to something like without the like if the bigger pieces like the love movies, death and stuff like that. Like
drop links in the description.
Yeah, we do that as well as the newsletter.
Yeah, newsletter is great. Yes, the newsletter is great.
Yeah, able to sort of hand select some of that, but some of the dossier gets messy. And JJ starts editorializing.
Oh, that's great. I love that.
He does. I like a little JJ aside.
But just a little bit.
Just a little.
Now, and we should say that this week he did too much, and thus he is fired.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I guess
sad to let him go.
It's a shame.
He's in the cart. He's in the carriage.
Next stop.
Drop him in the river.
How heavy a rock? How heavy a rock is JJ?
It is a pretty heavy rock.
Here we go. Yep.
Now I'll ask you all a question.
Yeah.
As you talked about on was the Big Lebowski episode? Yeah, where John Turturro obviously goes off and makes his movie, the Jesus movie.
Right, right.
Of course.
Yep.
Is there a character in this that you would like? Because we talked about
isn't Buster Scruggs?
Yeah.
Oh, I want a movie about now rich Tom Waits.
Hell yeah.
That is
like
that
him
he-
in like Chester Lampwick in the Simpsons episode with the solid gold car or whatever.
Now
Unbelievable
he's
thing.
rich.
Yeah.
How is he different?
I love that.
Everything has to work out.
everything.
Yes.
But
Okay?
it's like
No conflict.
It's him and
Smiles.
the owl.
I mean, it's very Beverly Hillbillies if you think
Right.
of it. It's like but a different era.
Yeah.
Like
Beyond all the obvious reasons why the Waits segment is such like Ben Bait, like old coot digging,
Oh yeah.
right? Tom Waits himself.
It's wet too.
But it also is everything works out. It is
Yeah.
a guy who seems destined for failure and death, and at the end he leaves with a bunch of fucking gold.
by the way,
It's what you're always asking movies to do.
I will. Now I'm not advertising Sora, but I did see you could get into Sora and just put those jeans in there too. You could actually make this segment
no,
right up your
It has
alley.
to be real.
Because I just saw, which I'll show you a post episode. Something posted Randy Macho Man Savage in Revenge of the Sith, and it is. It is.
this is the whole problem with AI.
It
You're
is-
like, that sounds good.
It's and I watch it and I was like, wow, for a multitude of
Wait, is he just inserted or is he taking
Revenge
the
of the
place
Sith?
of?
Is he General Grievous?
It's the final scene
Uh-huh.
with it's with
the Mustafar
okay.
lava battle?
Yes,
It's like you, Anakin, you were my brother.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, but he's doing the lines. I mean, I'll play you a section of it. You can hear a section of it just to hear it. But he's doing the lines.
Oh,
I mean,
it's so.
I mean,
I like you're saying he's doing the lines as if it isn't like fucking CGI necromancy.
Yeah,
what
I
a
mean,
fucking bummer.
I mean, this is. I mean,
what a bummer. This is so interesting to me.
What a bummer. This sounds awesome.
This is another reason you should stay off social media, Jason. There's less
absolutely.
ability to manipulate you.
We're the Sith, not join them. Yeah, bring balance to the Force.
That
not
is
leave it in
effective.
darkness.
Terrifying.
I
Wait, who's taking the
I don't-
taking the Hayden role? There?
I think it's just I think
it's
it is
just Hayden.
Hayden.
It's Hayden. It's like okay.
Oh, that's funny as hell.
Yeah, no, I mean this is what AI is for. I want to see Leon Kennedy from Resident Evil 4 attend the Met Ball, and
That's
it
all
can make
you've
that
ever
happen
wanted
to
to
me.
do.
So anyway, I'm telling you
That is the
there's
one
a
time I've
world
used
where
AI.
this you could redo it.
I
with
wanted
jeans.
that to happen.
All right. All right. And our fans have always been so normal about our use of AI.
I'd be
So-
clear. We hate AI.
We hate AI.
Yes,
we
yes,
reject
yes.
it.
I want to be
We reject
unequivocal about it.
And
Paul,
right.
can you send me that link?
Oh, I hate. Let's
it.
say
No, we truly reject.
I hate AI as it's used in creative pursuits, but
Yeah.
boy, am I down for AI in crunching data for medical research and,
sure.
and all,
Yes,
and all
sir.
manner of other things
like
that it is great
Well,
at.
this is the whole problem. It's like there's three things we wanted to do, and a
We're about
tremendous
to
amount of
get-
money is being spent on the exact things we don't
In
need.
the
Everyone
next
else-
10 years, we're about to get a lot of cures for catastrophic diseases and a tremendous amount of dog shit content.
That's the
Well,
problem.
you're gonna get a lot of shit posting. I mean,
Yeah,
that 20-second thing is a shit post that
Well,
it just
what
happened
is
to be.
the,
you
what is
ever
the
wanted to
company
see-
that just said they're going to put out 500 AI podcasts?
Yeah.
That's called a
Earwolf?
Check Productions,
okay, Blank Check
baby.
Productions.
We're doing it.
No, yeah,
Enjoy.
it's so crazy.
Yeah,
They're all
we
going
want to be very clear. We hate AI. Stay tuned for our slate of AI shows launching 2026.
You ever want a podcast that's just 500 llamas?
Oh,
we got one of those.
And it's AI Marie Barty.
Oh yeah. We actually fed her all the way.
Yeah.
We just pushed her
we bought
into the
exclusive
phone.
rights to her laugh, which
Yeah.
will be replicated onto other podcasts.
It's her laugh and Seth Rogen's laugh.
Great laughs.
Just
Great laughs,
head to
both.
head.
It is a shame we didn't have them in the same room.
You want to wrap up, David?
I do
Yeah,
need
let's
to
do
wrap
it.
up soon, but we should play the box office game before we do
Sure.
Coen's top 10. Scheer,
I want to say to Paul's point, Jesus Rolls is Turturro saying, Coens, do you mind if I take this character and run with it? If Tim Blake Nelson said tomorrow, hey, would you let me make a full Buster Scruggs movie? I would not be concerned about that.
Yeah, I think you'd have to figure out how does it sustain, because it is a Bugs Bunny short.
Maybe it can. I mean, maybe it can.
I'm not saying he should, but,
No, but
I trust him as a writer and director enough that if he said, I want to see if I can do Buster Scruggs on my own, I wouldn't immediately say red alert in the way that Turturro announcing I'm making a sex comedy of the Jesus on a road trip was like, this is only bad ideas.
No, I agree. I feel like but this is like a world in which I wish that they would make more shorts, and it almost like that Netflix would allow like a Coen Brothers short channel. Like every, it's like, just they make one thing. It doesn't have to be big. It's just like a 15-minute. I mean, that's unrealistic, but I would love to see that kind of collaboration with them.
Our friend, the aforementioned Connor Ratliff, has said that he thinks the high points of this are amongst the best stuff the Coens have ever done, and that he feels like if it had been released as separate shorts, that it would sort of stand in greater estimation, because some of these are just really pleasant to rewatch and really easily revisitable. And obviously the point is putting them all together and the greater conclusion they come to, right? And the thematic connections and echoes. But some of these are like tough hangs.
Right.
And you're like, fucking Meal Ticket's incredible, but you don't like,
you're not going to pop that in.
You're not inclined to fire it up. I have watched the Buster Scruggs segment upwards of 10 times. This is the second time I've ever seen Meal Ticket.
I think that's understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. That makes sense. And even Mortal Remains, which I love, I only love it as the capper to this movie.
Doesn't work on its own.
You wouldn't watch it on its own, but boy, really. I would send someone the Tom Waits one, the Buster Scruggs one, as individual
and maybe
pieces.
the Franco one.
Yeah.
Right. And
but we reduced it to a GIF. We have the Franco one and the most palatable.
I know. I do hear that Netflix is building a theme park and that the carriage ride will be a part of it.
Yeah.
Smart. Right.
By the way, in many respects, the Franco GIF is the chicken.
The Franco GIF is the chicken. And thank you for saying that, Paul. And it is true.
Well said.
Now this film came out.
The podcast.
He did a good job. Film came out November 9th, 2018.
Louis C.K. and I were seated.
Obviously, Netflix did not report its box office at all, but it was not number one at the box office. Number one was an animated film based on a children's classic story, Griffin, that this movie made you feel normal and regular.
It's the Peanuts movie?
No.
I have it. Harold and the Purple Crayon?
Nope.
Okay, it's 2018. What month? What month you said?
November.
And I tazzed out over this one?
You didn't like some of the things going on in this one. I've never seen it.
I didn't like some of the things.
You didn't like the star. You didn't like the voice he was doing.
Oh, this is Benedict Cumberbatch as the Grinch.
This is the Illumination, the Grinch movie.
I don't
kind of
like
lost
that movie.
time.
Never seen it.
I've watched it many, many times.
It made about $500 million.
Oh, wow.
This is right in the wheelhouse of my kids.
Sure.
Tyler, the Creator, does a song, Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch. Here's what I will say. I do. Yes. I do not like the retconning that we like the Ron Howard Grinch. They're re-releasing.
I don't either.
Nightmare.
No,
it's
the
a
one
nightmare.
I like is the fucking
the original
cartoon. Yeah,
the
the
one that's
cartoon.
Yes. But they are re-releasing that in theaters this Christmas. I'm like, no. We didn't.
I agree with you. I mean, that movie was a colossal hit, the Ron Howard film.
Do you think it's just because people went like, it's Ron Howard, it's Jim Carrey?
I think it was a little bit like, it's Christmas time. The Grinch is here.
Right.
I think there's a little Stockholm
there is a nostalgia for people of a certain age that movie aired when they were young, and now they're going to show it to their kids.
That movie, you also, that was the highest grossing film of its year. Right. It was a ginormous blockbuster.
I mean, they built a section of park at Universal. They have not taken over. It's still there. Whoville is still there, part of Horror Nights
I also think it's interesting that like Universal was like, we're going to make this fucking animated Grinch because people have complaints about the Jim Carrey one, and maybe we can make a better definitive Grinch movie and replace the stuff in our parks. Like, it felt like that was part of the impetus was, let's have a new representation of Grinch.
Because the movie Illumination,
quietly makes $500 million, and Universal has gone back to Jim Carrey Grinch. Like everything in the parks, the merch,
I mean,
everything.
It's on TV.
I would never have been able to pull that. I have no recollection of it even existing.
I'm
not
surprised to hear
I've
that.
seen it about 17 times.
After Boris Karloff did the fucking Chuck Jones animated version, they announced Benedict Cumberbatch, and I'm like, makes sense, perfect voice for Grinch. I see the first trailer, he's like, I don't like Christmas. And I'm like, why does he sound like me?
I know.
Why hire Benedict Cumberbatch and have him sound like me?
I love this rant.
He should sound like Smaug.
He should. And say,
You're a mean one, Mr. Smaug.
I find presents annoying. Sometimes they bounce, baby.
Number 2 at the box office it was a big hit. A film that was a big hit.
Okay.
Won Oscars.
One Oscar.
It is very bad.
Is it Bohemian Rhapsody?
It's Bohemian
there
Rhapsody.
we go. There we go.
My favorite thing about Bohemian Rhapsody was when it won Best Editing for the Oscar.
Well, it did have the most editing.
Well, that was the thing.
Quantity-wise.
Volume.
When people
Right.
put
It's a volume
together,
award.
It was mind blowing. Because I did not sit through that. I did not subject myself to that full film.
This is so weird. I just Googled who directed Bohemian Rhapsody and my iPad caught on fire.
I will never
Server
forget
not found.
the whole nightmare. Obviously, that movie's production has already unfolded in the press.
Yeah.
And then they're like, come to the press screening. I go to it. They're kind of like, here's Bohemian Rhapsody. I go to it and I was like, F. That movie, like, so glad I don't have to think about this again. And then it won Academy Awards.
Can you believe
it was
it?
a giant hit.
Does that?
Because
but
Queen is like,
here's
because
my
people like
question.
Queen.
No. Here's my question, because I think about this all the time when I'm listening to you guys talk about it. Does that ever? Because I have really, in my adulthood, lost faith in awards. Lost faith in the Oscars. Lost faith in
this
the
is
Emmys.
Communicating quality.
These are not. These awards do not delineate what are the best or most interesting or deserving movies whatsoever. Does Bohemian Rhapsody or Green Book or any of these other awards cause you to lose
that was a
faith?
particularly bad year.
Cause you to lose faith in the institution of the Oscars?
Sure.
I have given my friend gave me a tip many, many years ago to do any Oscar pool, and it's been very good for me, which is just look at it and go like, who's the biggest name? What title sounds interesting? You'll always win short film, because a majority of choices are people that are just like, oh yeah, that person's in a show. Great. Like it's the reason why I think SNL is cleaned up in the supporting actor category. Cause it's like, oh, Bad Bunny was on SNL. Oh,
I bet Tiffany Haddish did a good job.
Yes.
That sounds like she would have done that well.
Right. And it's like, oh, it's and not that she's not, but it is a funny, interesting thing that I think it is just people just going down. I think there's a lot of people who watch it. I think a lot of people who care about it. But I think a majority of people are just going on odd gut choices.
There was that year that Ellen Burstyn got a supporting actress nomination for an HBO movie from the Emmys.
1 second.
Yes. It is a sub 10-second cameo. And she was just like, clearly they just saw my name on a list and said, she's probably good in that.
Yeah.
Don Cheadle got nominated for Best Supporting Actor in the Captain America.
He's good in that.
Winter Soldier.
Falcon and Winter Soldier,
Walked through a museum and probably on screen for 2 minutes.
He's weirdly on screen longer than he was on set. No, I think the Oscars are in a weird place where they've made such a push to diversify their ranks and go younger and more international, more diverse and weirder, and try to expand the taste of their voting body because it had become so old and calcified. And what happens now is it feels like there's a pendulum swing every couple of years where you get a year like this where you're like all dog shit. Green Book, Best Picture.
But last
and
year
then
was
you
good.
get Parasite.
Right.
And then you
The
get
next
and
year
then it will
is
swing
Parasite.
the
Yeah,
other
you're
way.
right.
So it's
Yeah.
a weird back and forth.
I also think it's reflective of the time. Like this year is going to be interesting because it's like, what's really out there? And what's going to be coming up for most normies is a bunch of movies they don't know. It's like the Train Dreams and Hedda and all that sort of stuff. It's going to be like, no one's going to see that, but the movies that the two Hamnet, like it's going to be Sinners and One Battle. And I would argue that One Battle, as much as I love it, is not going to be even on most people's radars. Sinners is going to be the only movie this year that is going to make any.
And are Wicked and Avatar going to get in there, but are they going to get in there as a sort of consolation prize?
Yeah.
You don't really have a chance of winning nomination.
Right. Green Book 2.
Green Book 2 is stealthily
the next chapter.
a strong contender.
I like it.
People
I
aren't
mean, it's
talking
fun.
about
It's
it.
it's deeper.
Keep
It's good.
booking.
It's good. It's good.
Green Book 2, hardly booking. Number 3 at the box office, a bit of a forgotten film. It's new this week. It's an action horror film.
Action horror.
Yes, a period action horror. It's a war horror movie.
It's a war.
Not Shadow in the Clouds.
Is it Overlord?
Overlord.
Oh.
The Julius Avery movie.
Yes. I weirdly fell down a rabbit hole, Wikipedia last night, of Julius Avery was announced in 2020 to reboot Van Helsing.
Sure.
I don't remember how I got there. I was going down a Van Helsing thing.
Right.
Uh-huh.
But so Overlord
we
top
did
of
it on How
mind,
Did This Get Made?
only for that reason.
I was gonna say we did it last night.
He since then has done Samaritan, the Nicolas
Yeah.
Cage superhero movie that's kind of forgotten.
No,
and
was
then-
that Stallone?
Yeah, sorry, what am I talking about? Stallone. Yeah, not Cage. And then The Pope's Exorcist, of course.
Oh, yes, which we also did
Crow
on
on
the
that
podcast.
best, but
By the way,
yeah.
Samaritan was a direct rip of a movie that I had done, Arch Enemy.
Oh.
That was that I was like, it was almost shot for the trailer was cut the
Yeah.
same way too. It was very interesting.
Manganiello. movie,
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, the thing about Overlord, which I've never seen and heard was like, okay, kind of like fun, silly, goofy, gory stuff, is that it was initially going to be
Yes.
another Cloverfield
It was going to be
movie.
World War II Cloverfield, and then the response to Cloverfield Paradox was so bad
That they were like, let's stop calling things
that
Cloverfield.
versus it being like, this helps sell original spec script movies if you tie them into the Cloverfield and use that branding. They were like, fuck, we ruined the
It's
branding.
over.
Yeah.
Number 4 at the box office is a normal Disney family movie.
Normal.
Everyone remembers.
Normal.
Mhm.
It's not a live action remake,
No,
but it has that vibe.
sure.
Is it Nutcracker in the Four Realms?
There you go.
There we go.
Wow.
Now you are
House-
one of 3 credited directors.
Right.
on that.
Lassie Hallstrom did 2 of the realms. Joe Johnston did 1. I did a realm.
He did a
too.
realm.
It was my joke back in
Picked
the
up
day.
a realm as a favorite.
But that was a true, I think, classic Disney where they're like, let's do a Nutcracker movie. And they're like, okay, great. Any other ideas on casting, story? And they're like, oh, just start production.
Throw a couple rounds in
we'll
there.
figure it out. I don't know what they're going to have gowns and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's fine. Like, it just, because they fired Hallstrom and
Yes.
replaced him with Joe Johnston, I think.
Extensive reshoots were
Right.
overseen by Joe Johnson.
Like Morgan Freeman's there. He's got like an eye patch or
Keira
something.
Knightley?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never seen it. My daughter does love the Nutcracker. I watched the Macaulay Culkin one with
Sure,
her a
that
lot.
one's fun.
Yeah, that one's good. Number 5 at the box office. Oh, one of my favorite movies of 2018.
Truly or
And I just
facetiously?
attended an intimate dinner with its director.
Bradley Cooper. Is it A Star Is Born?
The Star Is Born.
Yeah.
Oh.
Obviously a gigantic hit. It's
Yeah.
been out for 6 weeks and it's made $178 million.
Well. Did it end up at 2?
It ended up making
Over
I don't know. I mean, it definitely
Another
215 domestic.
215 domestic.
Another best song nomination
And
in here.
if you
against
remember the
Beats
performance
Buster
of that,
totally normal performance of it.
that poof.
That was one of those true, like, the Oscars do rock. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like, this is insane that I'm
Well,
watching this.
And that is why I feel like the spectacle of the Oscars you'll always get something good.
Yeah.
You will
Yeah,
get something good.
I'm hopeful this
Especially-
year.
Especially in 10 years when they let Will Smith back in the building.
Oh,
That's when you're going to be guaranteed something good.
I just did my hands out.
Yeah.
Like 2 big slappers.
Two big slappers.
I mean, I still we talked about this on How Did This Get Made. I love his mea culpa to that in Bad Boys 4, where he does like kind of address this, like Martin slaps him,
Oh,
and it's
right,
like now
right.
we've made peace with the slap.
Right.
And then that was one of the things I've made, and I think it was because of COVID. Like I've really made a turn on like, was it that bad? I mean, it was. but
it's
it
one of those
wasn't-
things where
Excuse me, Paul, he could have killed
well, no,
I
but
mean,
no,
like
right,
that,
where
yeah,
people
right.
got a little too hysterical in the other direction of like the, and I was like,
Comedy is under
but
attack.
you are not allowed,
Right.
to
You're not
attend the
allowed to do that.
Oscars, charge
be
the stage,
clear.
and start hitting people.
I agree. I agree.
It is categorically insane.
It's definitely not the done thing to
No,
when
and-
someone is presenting, be like, I think I'm gonna come hit you.
I think the difference is like, look, we were all in COVID. There's a lot of shit going on.
Shit,
Everyone's dealing-
Oh shit,
And
what's going on?
And I do think it was amped up so much
We
that
had
I think
less things to talk about.
yes. And when I looked at it again or thought about it again, I was like, yes, what you're saying, you should not be charging a stage and slapping anybody in the face, especially
Etiquette,
right.
don't do that.
But it was viewed as like this man, like
Yeah.
If you were to
sacred
hear it,
There
you'd
were
be
a
like, he
couple
beat
tweets.
the shit out of this person.
There was a live murder.
Yeah.
It was. I saw that at Marie Barty's Oscar
Your
party,
party, right?
and it was
The
mostly
Barty party?
It was a literal Barty party.
was?
And it was mostly like film people who work in film, people who write about film, people who study film. Everyone in there was just like a hardcore movie nerd. And there was an hour and a half of people as if it was like the Zapruder film.
Oh, yeah.
Breaking down like, wait, what happened and why?
I wasn't even watching it. I mean,
It
I'm
was-
like, I'm so out on this
Divorced
stuff.
from the Oscars.
I really haven't been watching it. And one of my like film guy text chains blew up. Hey, are you guys watching this? Was that a bit? Do you think that was a bit?
It
and
was
I had
all
to
we were
tune
debating.
in. Yeah.
It felt like there was a collective like hallucination. And until he got up to accept the award, we were like, at some point, we're going to get some answer.
Closure.
Yeah.
And the second he got up and started crying and said, like, Richard Williams, protect his family, everyone just gasped and went, oh my God, it was real. Like, he said the first line, and we went, oh my God, it was real.
Well, I am friends with Regina and Will Smith, but when she was hosting that
right,
year.
and she and Schumer, right, were like, get us on stage. What
Yes.
the fuck? Right.
And so the Black Monday cast was on a text chain, all like kind of rooting on, and then
doing great, Regina.
Yeah, and it was like
show's normal.
And then it was like that. I think if I'm correct in saying it, we're like, that's a bit, right? And it was like, no, like we did get verification.
Hardcore, immediate.
That was not a bit.
That must have been an astounding text received from someone in the room.
It was because the way it was also displayed. I remember like sound dropped out.
Yeah,
it was
the
weird
camera cut suddenly,
Yes.
and right,
and it was like, and then you got up and there was like that shot where it was like somebody was talking to Will Smith in the corner. It was
Denzel.
And
yeah.
It was
Bradley
Denzel.
Cooper.
Yeah.
of course,
Wow.
BC.
And you could only rewatch it on the Australian feed.
Right.
That was what was
wow.
weird.
I got crikey. This is mental.
That's not a slap.
right.
You beat me to it.
Number 6, just to wrap up, we should do our Coens rankings. We've been podcasting for 3 hours. Number 6, of course, this week. This week, the very good idea of doing The Girl in the Spider's Web. Let's do a sequel to Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by adapting the 4th book, written not by the guy.
And an
with a different
infinitely
actor.
Valuable Cinematrix play. I scored off of it today.
Nobody remembers.
No one remembers.
Number
doesn't exist.
7 is Nobody's Fool. Is that
That's
Kevin Hart? No, Tiffany Haddish.
That's
And
Haddish.
Regina, is it? Wait, who is that? Who is in
Nobody's
this movie?
Fool, the Paul Newman
No, I
movie?
wanna
No,
say
that's the problem.
Is it Tika Sumpter?
Tika Sumpter, Tiffany Haddish,
And Whoopi Goldberg.
Amari Hardwick, and Whoopi Goldberg, and she's got a wig on, and she's kind of going like this
Whoopi Goldberg.
at the foolishness. I
Whoopi
assume.
Goldberg has a bit in the trailer that
Okay.
is so fucking funny.
This is
that
a Tyler Perry film,
but it was Tyler Perry at Paramount where he didn't usually make his films.
right?
And
Kind of doing like what looks like a pretty ordinary rom-com
right.
kind
It
of
was
thing.
sort of
Right.
him trying to do more of a like normal comedy in a Tiffany Haddish vehicle and not the Tyler Perry thing. I don't know if it veers into faith-based lessons towards the end.
Yeah, because I was trying to remember like that was one of those movies where again it's still in the top 10, so it's making money, but it also was like not.
No.
It was not. Well,
It was,
And it was just sold as another Tiffany Haddish
Kind of
movie.
right.
did okay.
There's a bit where I believe Whoopi Goldberg plays their sisters and plays their mother, I think. There's a bit where they go to visit the mom and they're yelling at her. And she starts acting like the phone has dropped out and she can't hear them.
That sounds funny.
And then they go, "You're not on the phone. We're talking to you through a window."
But that's
and she's
funny.
miming that
That's
she can't
funny.
hear them.
That sounds funny.
It's really good. That's all I've seen.
She's a national treasure.
Whoopi rules.
And someone today just posted the famous thing she said on Marriage to some interview.
I don't want someone sleeping in my bed.
No, it's just I don't want someone in my house. That's what I think about it all the time. Number 8 at the box office is Venom. He's there. He's been doing great. Number 9 is the David Gordon Green Halloween, giant hit. Number 10 is The Hate You Give, which I feel like was they hoped for hit and wasn't really a hit. The young adult. It's a young adult movie based on a sort of a hit book.
Yes, and that was there was a lot. Yeah.
Amandla Sternberg.
Yeah.
And Regina Hall's in that.
Yes.
And I saw it. It's okay. It's very, very serious. Very
It's a shooting, right? A kid. Yes.
Very like sort of sensitive, serious teens wrestling with deep issues movie. It's not very good. It's okay. That is that. But Griffin, I know you're looking at your phone for this reason. This is not our last episode in this miniseries
But
because
we're kind of treating the next
the Coens
3 as bonus.
split up
Yeah.
and did 3 movies, which
Yeah.
we will
Oh wow!
cover.
So that was the question I was going to ask. Like this. So you
It's not our finale for
Will
the
you
Coens.
do them each gets their own, Macbeth gets its own
They're all
episode?
recorded
Or,
and
okay.
Yep.
We did them.
We have 'em in the
Macbeth,
can.
Driveway Dolls, Honey Don't.
Okay.
But we will do our top, our Coen's rankings now.
Okay. I have done mine as well
Fantastic.
in the last 10 minutes.
Fantastic.
Oh, okay.
I knew you were playing with your phone and I was like, Jason's up to something.
Like, feels
You're fine,
terrible.
Paul.
I'm looking
Paul,
at
you do
this
not.
list and it feels wrong, but
It's
like
crazy.
any move feels like how could I?
There's no right answer here.
And let me be clear. This is what I'm sort of putting as my ranking of what I consider their best works. Obviously, Hudsucker Proxy is my favorite film of theirs.
You can do
one of my
favorites.
favorite movies.
Well, you do what you want.
There's a universe in which I put that at number
Griff,
one.
is there a movie before you do your list that rose high during the re-recording of this or that dropped? Or is there anything like that? Like a sort of canonical fave?
I want to say, I mean, but
whatever,
like it's
had a
so
different opinion.
arbitrary.
It is a little bit.
I feel like Raising Arizona dropped a little and Lebowski went up for me.
I had the exact same reaction.
But I mean, like,
But I love them both.
both masterpieces, in my opinion. I have Lady Killers last. I will say I put Tragedy of Macbeth and Driveway Dolls ahead of Lady Killers.
Sure. But
I put
Those are not in my rankings.
yeah, get
But
them
just-
off, get 'em
that's
off.
for my master
hear you.
ranking.
I hear you.
for the sake of this series.
So Lady Killers last.
Then Intolerable Cruelty.
Oh, shit.
Now, everything past and by the way, I think Intolerable Cruelty is great. Past this point, every movie I'm going to list sounds like it's an insult to put it this low. And it's truly just an embarrassment of riches. I then have Blood Simple, Scruggs, True Grit.
You have True Grit that low? Okay, keep going.
This is, I mean,
keep
this is what I'm
going,
saying.
keep going.
Raising Arizona.
Okay.
Miller's Crossing. Oh, Brother, Where Art Thou?
And so now that was 11th.
Right. My 10,
Mhm.
Man Who Wasn't There, great movie. 9, Burn After Reading. 8, Lebowski. 7, Barton Fink. 6, Hail Caesar. I put Hudsucker at 5 with me trying to be objective, but it's number 1 in my heart. But then there are 4 movies that I just think are stone cold, like just undeniable masterworks. Number 4, No Country. Number 3, A Serious Man. Number 2, Fargo. Number 1, Inside Llewyn Davis. That's where I land.
Wow.
That's their best film, in my opinion. Hudsucker's my favorite. That's the distinction I want.
Should I do mine?
Yeah, you should do.
All right. I have Lady Killers last, then Burn After Reading. Sorry. Then Man Who Wasn't There. Sorry. Then Buster Scruggs. Then Intolerable Cruelty. All the way up to 14. Then Hail Caesar. Now we're just in movies I love territory.
Man, I put Hail Caesar a lot higher than
did.
you. Yeah.
Then Oh Brother at 12. Blood Simple 11. My 10 are top 10. 10 Hudsucker. 9 Raising Arizona. 8 Miller's Crossing. 7 No Country. 6 Llewyn Davis. My 5 are very different from yours. 5 Big Lebowski. 4 Serious Man. 3 True Grit. All the way up there. 2 Fargo. 1 Barton Fink. That's me. Nobody yell at me.
Like our ranking are
Quite different.
incredibly different, and yet I'm like, I don't think you're wrong about any of that.
You're not mad at me.
So mine falls into the truly, these are, I cannot separate my true love for some of these
I
from,
think it's allowed.
yeah.
The
So,
distinction are like millimeters.
yeah, especially when we get into that top 6 or 7.
Lady Killers is obviously number 1 with a bullet for you.
Number 1, Intolerable Cruelty. Number 2. No, Lady Killers, Intolerable Cruelty are at the bottom for me. Man Who Wasn't There, Buster Scruggs, Burn After Reading. These all could kind of be in any order, but they are all in that lower third. Burn After Reading, and then True Grit, they're chunked to me. True Grit, Hail Caesar, Oh Brother
Mhm.
Okay.
are like that middle category. And then it gets into Blood Simple, Llewyn Davis, Raising Arizona, Barton Fink, and then for me, Fargo, A Serious Man, No Country, Lebowski, Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing.
Miller's Crossing is my number 1 just because it is baked in. It's it's their movie that I've seen the most.
Yeah.
And I've seen Lebowski a lot, and I've seen Miller's Crossing more. Owen Burke, our friend Owen Burke,
Yeah.
watches Miller's Crossing every year on St. Patrick's Day. He told me this years ago, and I've instituted it as well, and it's a blast.
That is a great way to.
It's a great revisit, and it's one of those movies that I know every line of. I know every corner. I love that movie. Even though I know that many of these movies are inarguably better movies, No Country especially, Fargo especially, Miller's Crossing just has its hooks in me, as does Lebowski. Lebowski is so baked into, like, when I need a feel-good watch to just disappear into, it is always Lebowski.
You had Fargo at 3?
I had Fargo at 5.
Wow.
I have Miller's Crossing is 1, Lebowski is 2, No Country is 3, A Serious Man is 4. Because I just think that is dynamite.
Incredible film.
And Fargo is 5.
Yeah.
And I mean, like, a lot of these I could, if you said to me, reorder those 5 in a different, I could happily own it, you know?
Yeah.
These are all unimpeachably just masterpieces by my estimation.
I agree with that. Yeah.
This is too quick for me to do it. I think but I think I want to take a moment and say that when you ask Men's Health, what their ranking of the Coen brothers.
And I do appreciate you.
Yes. And I
appreciate you asking.
And I've been asking and they haven't gotten back to me.
They rate them from 1 to 6 abs.
Yeah,
yes.
It's an ab scale.
The number 1 for them is going to be Fargo. That's Men's Health. Right now, a great one. Yeah. I'm gonna maybe show you like where they go a little bit off the rails. Maybe, Vulture put Intolerable Cruelty in the top 10. Yeah, I think that everybody has to kind of do that. Men's Health did put Burn After Reading number 6.
Some people love Burn After Reading a lot.
I really, I have no problems with Burn After Reading.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
before Serious Man.
That's
crazy.
a little wild.
That's crazy.
That's a little wild.
The J.K. Simmons, David Rashi scene of that movie is incredible.
Lights out.
It absolutely makes the movie for me. I will say also, just to like, ranking Coen Brothers movies is like the quickest way, at least back when Twitter was somewhat usable, to just get everyone frothing. You would just be kind of like, I think Barton Fink's my favorite Coens. And then, 1 hour later, people are like, what's your address? I'm going to come kill you. Even though we're all arguing over all movies that we all love, basically.
I just got tracking notice from anthrax.com.
I love it.
So
I remember seeing Barton Fink in the theater and being like, what the fuck is going on?
I am jealous.
This is incredible, I think. Like, I just the John Goodman performance, because at the time, I hadn't seen him do anything like
Dan
this.
Connor.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I loved that movie.
Yeah, no, it's like, what order do I put 5-star masterpieces
Exactly.
in?
I'm going to make a shocking admission. Never saw Barton Fink.
Oh, well, you know what,
Wait,
Paul?
Still?
Now you have the best kind of homework.
Yes.
Oh,
that is. I don't know what it is. I've seen every
It's
single Coen Brothers movie.
It's a wonder. You have such a good one.
Okay, great night out.
And as someone, Paul, who works in Hollywood, and I feel like knows a lot about how it works and has a lot of opinions on how it should work, Barton Fink.
And I'm surprised, just as a Wallace Beery wrestling fan, that you haven't watched
You
it.
love Wallace Beery wrestling picture.
But it was one of those movies that I felt like, oh, you know what? I do this sometimes. I'm like, I'll wait until I can see it properly.
Yeah, I get that.
Right?
Yeah,
And I'm
I
like,
didn't
maybe
see
I
the
can
Godfather movies until I saw them at Film Forum in New York. As an adult, because I wanted to wait until I could see it in a theater. I knew it would matter.
Yeah.
Right. I watched it on my Apple Watch. That's
so cool.
You want to see Barton Fink, and then you hear really bad feedback from Bart Simpson and his friends. And they just completely discouraged you from going. And Naked Lunch, that's why you've never seen Naked Lunch either.
The same thing. Bart really shit on that one. It's also great to see, like, I have a painting of Hudsucker Proxy in my house.
Yes.
I love it. I love it so much. And it was one of those movies that I felt like when I saw it, I liking it made me, like, because everyone would be like, oh, Raising Arizona.
You're right.
Arizona. And it's like, and you felt like, oh, there's no, but I like
Nobody's arguing for this one.
And I love that.
I was part of the, because I'm like a full step older than you guys.
Right.
Hudsucker to me felt like a betrayal.
That was you're rubbing your hands, you can't wait. The Coens made a big movie, and then you're like, what the fuck was that?
What the fuck is this?
And before the Lady Killers and Tolerable Cruelty back to back, it was like that was the consensus.
It was a falter. It felt like a misstep.
Have you watched it?
Many times. Many times. And I think it's wonderful. But in that moment,
I can totally understand.
I was like, what the fuck, guys?
Can I say this as a closing statement? Because we
Please.
recorded our episode, and then Ben, Marie, and I went out to LA and introduced a screening with the American Cinematheque. Did this intro, and I saw it again, projected on 35. Anytime I see it screening, I see it, right? But these Coens movies, as we talk about, every time you watch them, I get different stuff out of them. They go up and down in my rankings at levels of greatness, right? But certain elements jump out to me more. I have different readings. Maybe I get certain plot details wrong because I'm paying attention to one thing and the other. But watching Hudsucker on the big screen that time, something clicked in it for me that I'd never really thought about before. And especially knowing that it was a script they wrote early with Raimi that they couldn't get made, and with all their clout, they're like, we get to do this. I think that movie is about like how to become successful without becoming an asshole.
Right. You can't let go of yeah,
and
absolutely.
These guys who people will often miscategorize as being very judgmental of their characters and condescending. I'm like, the way they treat Norville in the section of the movie where he becomes full of his own shit and high on his own supply is like the most disdain they have shown for any character. Like even more so in a way than like Anton Chigurh, right? Where they're like, this is the absolute cautionary tale of, we just like making hula hoops and we want everyone to enjoy hula hoops. And how do we do that and ascend to levels of success without becoming this guy and needing to like fall off the side of a building and reclaim our humanity?
Right.
And I think you like step back and you look and you're like, these guys had this fucking career working together for 30 plus years, made like basically 20 masterpieces, and just like stayed true to themselves the entire fucking time. And even like say whatever you want about Lady Killers, that is very much
we
their
have not
movie.
We have never done a career as
nothing's like
I
this.
mean,
shot through
here we are at the end of your
integrity.
series.
Yes, pretty much.
At the end of your series, talking about a movie that, while we might quibble with, you know, it might be a little uneven segment to segment, vignette to vignette.
Whatever.
There was still so much in this that was wonderful.
We
like,
could have talked about it for another 4 hours.
Have you ever done a series that is, but because I feel like by the end of most series, you guys are cooked because now you're stuck with the dregs.
And this was as long a series as we've done, basically.
Pretty much.
I mean, the solos are a little closer to being dregs for us.
Yeah, right. Get ready for those 3 episodes where we are beginning to grasp.
That's a different story. Like, you could have not done those, or done those on the Patreon as all 3 of the, or all 4 of the, or 3 of those in one episode. Like, they are not the same.
Maybe these are good ideas that we should have listened to.
But now, do you feel like in those 3 films, or do you have any research, and not to tease this for the audience, that they give each other notes on their solo films?
No, I don't think
have heard nothing to that
I've
effect.
never heard anything like that.
That's interesting to me, to be like, to have such a close, because I'm also fascinated with the Safdies too,
works,
and it's like, you'd be like, oh, I don't know.
Dude, the Safdies, it's having seen both those movies, it's the same thing as what the Coens, where you're like, I see what each was bringing to the table.
Right.
And I think both of the movies they made a load are really good, and I actually like them more than
the balance.
Coens. But you're just like,
hard to replicate.
This energy is here and this energy is over here, and they used to be together, and now we're watching
Do
them.
we know anything about the movie the Coens are working on together
Nothing
again?
except that they're working on something.
Just that they are.
And that it's maybe a horror adjacent.
Heard that, but who knows? They tell
knowing them, that also might be a loose starting point.
Okay.
And it's turned into
I
something
just was
else.
curious.
It's exciting to consider.
It's
exciting another movie, but if this is their last movie, which is not impossible,
it's not impossible.
I don't mind it as the last movie. Yeah,
I don't either.
Yeah.
I think it's a good final film. I hope we are wrong.
They told a bunch of funny short stories. That's their whole filmography is funny little vignettes. I mean, they're movies, but I feel like that's what it's kind of encapsulates everything about them. I love it as it.
I mean,
sorry, we made you.
I have to go.
No, let's wrap it.
Pee.
We literally have to do a show.
Yeah, we gotta go do a show.
I'll also say I saw Ethan Coen on the street yesterday.
Whoa.
Right before recording this, our final
How
record.
funny.
He looked so fucking cool.
Oh yeah,
because I think of him as being like the wormier little one. He was wearing sunglasses, leather jacket, cock of the walk.
Where?
I had like
Just
5 inches on him easy, but he looked cool. Yeah, just walking around with the fucking Flatiron District.
I love that.
Yeah, Nomad. Looked rad as hell. Thank you guys for being here.
Oh,
what a pleasure. What a pleasure.
Glad we made it work. It was, knew you guys had some New York shows on the books. We were going to do this episode guest list, and I threw out to Sims, is it crazy if we see if they're free? And knowing very often you guys are so busy,
I literally
impossible to
canceled
block
everything
out
to
6
be
hours to give an episode its proper space.
Thrilled to have been able to be included in this, what is, I think, inarguably the best series you guys have done, both in terms of films and episodes. I think this has been a blast.
Good run.
Amazing. Yeah, really, truly fun. And I love this too, because it's a chance to revisit. I feel
the rewatches have been
really great.
There's no better rewatch assignment than throwing all
the
these movies out.
Yeah,
There's
this
no
has been a blast.
You guys have to do some dog shit next time.
Yeah, you're doing dog shit next time.
I'm joking.
Is there anything specific you guys want to plug?
How did this get made?
Yeah.
You
How did
know,
this get made?
podcast.
Still going strong, baby.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Year 15 or 16 now. I can't remember.
I remember listening to that burlesque episode. That was one of the first
That
ones.
was
It was
the
the
first
first one.
Yeah,
one.
like-
I thought,
December.
when is Old Dogs in the first 5?
It's in the early ones. It's the pilot that we never aired, and then we did do
Okay,
it
that's what I
like
thought.
later.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
So it's
burlesque, just at my old job, what was it, 09?
Yeah.
Around there?
Well, so we
Yeah.
did this
Just being like
December
this
will be
rocks.
15 years.
Wild.
That rocks.
So
Hey,
that's
congrats on the
Still going.
iHeart Awards.
Decade and a
guys,
half of
like,
dream.
you know, look, this is, you know,
We went out to the iHeart Awards in Austin, Texas. We're all dressed up. We think they're about to present our category. It basically happens in a montage in between awards. They go, like, what was it? It was like, Jameson asked you to raise a glass to podcast. Award for best ad read goes to Conan O'Brien. Award for best best film TV podcast. How did this get made? And we're just like, oh, they didn't even present it.
Oh my God.
And I assume, oh, they didn't present it because they asked you guys and you weren't going to show up. And I text you guys, congrats, and you said, on what?
Oh, yeah.
And we said, you just won. And you said, won what? And I was
True.
like, the iHeart. And you were like, for what category?
No awareness whatsoever.
none.
Zero awareness.
Now, I was at the first ever Astra Podcast Awards, and we can talk about that later.
Hey.
I want to thank producer Ben for helping me with the I've Got a Bone segment, and thanks to Zach Cherry for letting me do it, and
maybe thank me for the He-Man sunglasses as well.
and thanks to Griff for the sunglasses, even though he didn't know he was doing that for the bit. What a blast!
Yeah,
And thanks to Emma Erdbrich for helping us with the with the tune.
Totally.
And guys, by the way, just listen to those doughboys, those stupid fucking doughboys.
They need
Fuck the Doughboys.
they need
They're
the
doing
bump.
great too.
They need
Another
the
long
bump.
Doughboys, Action Boys, all the pod boys.
Yeah.
Sloppy boys.
No.
No, we
Jerky
women
boys.
are
Did you
good.
say
I
Ben?
said sloppy boys.
Oh, sloppy boys.
But also
yeah.
listen to the Jerky,
Jerky Boys as
Yeah,
well.
Revisit. You know
Bring it
what?
back.
I'm sure it's aged beautifully.
Next week is Tragedy Macbeth,
Next week is the tragedy
With our friend
Macbeth with
Dana
our friend
Schwartz.
Dana Schwartz.
returning to the show for another witch film.
That's right.
Yep.
Oh, we got to plug holes, but not plug, but holes.
Plug 'em
Dig
up?
them.
Yeah, but also the movie.
But when you say plug holes, it sounds like you're telling people to fill them in.
No,
so
don't
be
do that.
clear in your language.
Create them.
Right. So you don't like one of those senators who like fills potholes or
No.
whatever. You're like, I'm not voting for that
No,
guy.
you got a Joe Dirt philosophy of life's a whole dig it.
Okay. We are done. I'm sure this is ranking in our top 5 length.
At this point,
Who
even
knows?
No,
Maybe
not.
No, there was
Short.
episodes of just
This
this
seems
series
short, yeah.
that were very
very
long.
And Leslie, of course.
And
hit
Leslie
the 4 hour
Hepland is
Yeah,
mark.
gonna
Leslie
never.
broke
That
it
will
off.
never. The only person capable of doing that is Alex Ross Perry.
Yeah.
and he'll
Great
be
job
back.
in Pavements, by the way.
Oh,
Great.
thank you. That was fun to do. What if I promised to make the ad reads really long on this?
Okay. Okay.
No, but we don't.
We
like
already did the big trick of the
right, the juicy,
Yeah, the hidden track.
Yeah, no,
right,
I'm not.
right.
I'm not trying to make. I'm not trying to make waves here.
Arp was so angry when he discovered that.
Did he? Was he?
He was.
He
mad.
texted us when the episode dropped and was like, I guess I need to like concede the belt.
Oh,
And then a
that's
week
funny.
later was like, there's 40 minutes of silence. These fucking.
Oh, it was so good.
Thank you for being here.
So
Thank
much
you for
fun. Thank
having-
you for having us.
Excited to see you guys talk about Monkey Bone tonight.
Please, this is gonna be great.
And as always,
Smell you later, fartheads.
there we go.
I mean, I introed us. I might as well outro us.
Blank Check with Griffin and David is hosted by Griffin Newman and David Sims. Our executive producer is me, Ben Hosley. Our creative producer is Marie Barty Salinas. And our associate producer is AJ McKeon. This show is mixed and edited by AJ McKeon and Alan Smithy. Research by JJ Birch. Our theme song is by Lane Montgomery and the Great American Novel, with additional music by Alex Mitchell. Artwork by Joe Bowen, Ollie Moss, and Pat Reynolds. Our production assistant is Minnick. Special thanks to David Cho, Jordan Fish, and Nate Patterson for their production help. Head over to blankcheckpod.com for links to all of the real nerdy shit. Join our Patreon, Blank Check Special Features, for exclusive franchise commentaries and bonus episodes. Follow us on social at Blank Check Pod. Subscribe to our weekly newsletter, Checkbook, on Substack. This podcast is created and produced by Blank Check Productions.